+2. +2. Blow me out. I'll die. 2.
I posted in like 6 groups.
So we're doing black.
Yeah. We're on black.
Mono Brack.
Wait, what?
Oh, actually, you did all the scores. Powerful mage.
Yeah.
You got them all set up? Bianchi's the best?
Yeah, Bianchi actually when did that shit
Set up. I just did this now with Steve helping me.
Oh god.
Ooh, is that good or bad?
For sure it's bad. Actively bad.
No, Savage Twister, why? Oh no.
Savage Twister,
What did
no!
that just say?
Brutal.
He's talking about how the prices. So they announced that VMA events are going down before cons, and then they re-announced that they're going back on that, and it's allowing VMA events to run through con up until cons.
Wow.
So the prices of all the vintage cards rose and then dropped again.
Wow, powerful.
And Ben didn't sell his Lotus during that time.
No.
So he says he lost out on like 30.
Yeah, 30, whatever. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Are we actually live right now?
We are, yeah. Just waiting for people to get in.
So powerful. So powerful.
Post on the... I don't know where all the white women at.
Powerful, powerful.
Bet my cards, dude.
What was it big hours?
And by stop talking to me, I mean Mr. Man. Not you guys.
Powerful. Oh my god.
I'm at 4. Don't kill me.
I'm gonna go grab some food while we gain some followers and viewers and shit.
Look at that guy lurking in the background.
Hello.
Captain Steedicus.
Turn up.
I'm moving my eyebrows, but you can't really tell.
I'm also like looking at the stream instead of Skype or something. Oh yeah, you guys don't have the camera up in Skype, so it'll be 30 seconds later.
I'm going to enjoy that.
Wait, what?
I'm going to enjoy all of Stella's comments being 30 seconds later to us.
Well, I'm listening to you in real time. I'm just not watching you in real time.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that
I mean,
makes
you'll know the card.
that makes way better sense.
Oh my goodness, this guy's pool is like 80 times better than my pool.
Well, you should drop.
How am I even in this game?
Yeah, just drop.
Just drop.
You have no chance.
Demon, yes. All right.
How's the volume? I messed with the volume.
I'm just tired.
Brought the wrong tool. You should just kill Steve with this on camera, right?
Was your plan for dinner just pepperoni and potato chips?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna go eat after this.
I'm looking forward to the eating after this.
Me too.
Alright.
Well, I got this hot 3 viewers.
Should we get started, still?
Yeah, we can get started.
Are you dead yet?
I'm about to die.
Oh, sweet.
I'm very, very close to dead. How do I not? I can't
I don't
dredge.
want to sit in the
No
back
creatures
just making
left.
funny faces the whole time and see if anybody can tell that's not my regular face.
Probably not.
Alright, so let's get started with the black then. Where we left off. First card is a Cursed Spirit. 3 in a black for a 3/2 Intimidate. Reprint. What did I give this card? I gave this a C+. You gave this a C+,
Yeah.
Cursed Spirit. Just Blade Tusk Boar.
I'm curious as to why this card never seems as good as Blade Tusk Boar to me.
Because red's an aggressive color.
Probably true.
And people don't play red as
Black's
often.
not always an aggressive color. So yeah,
I give this a C.
It is worse than the red version of the same card. So
I give it a C.
yeah, that's fair. not really much else to say about him. Next card is Black Cat, 1 and a black for a 1/1 zombie cat. When it dies, target opponent discards a card at random. We both gave this a D+. Yeah, you don't really want to main deck this card ever.
Card's pretty
No, it's one of those cards that is a little annoying to attack into. So it always has that going for it. It was particularly obnoxious in Innistrad too, because there were a good amount of X1s, but like it's not a good card.
Yeah, best case scenario, your opponent's playing a lot of X1s, and then you can threaten to block it and 2-for-1 them. And random discard can be good.
bad. The thing is, the card's just not a bear. So it trades with a card that you don't know or care about. So it's really not that good.
Yeah, and if they don't want to, if they care about all the cards in their hand, they're just not going to attack into it or whatever.
Yeah.
So we have Blood Host next. 3 black for a 3/3 vampire. You can pay 1 and a black and sacrifice another creature to put a 1/1 counter on Blood Host and gain 2 life. We both gave this a C+. We gave this a C+.
It really depends on how good that like sacking a creature is in this format, right? Like
Yeah, this could easily be a B, I think.
yeah.
Right. I almost put it at B minus range.
So like, is this card like really good with like active treason, right?
Well, there isn't one of those, right?
Yeah, there's one.
There isn't active treason at all in this format.
No,
the
there's a
enchantment.
6-mana do nothing enchantment.
Oh, wow,
It actually might be the definition of do nothing.
that's really powerful.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, this card's okay. It's a minor upside if you have 2 open mana and they cast a removal spell on something else. But
Well, it's alright. It's really not that good.
Yeah, I think it's.
mean, with token generators rolling around, and I mean, like, Black Cat's a pretty good thing. So
I was gonna say it combos with Black Cat, right?
Yeah.
Powerful.
Right, yeah. I think
I
it's
think
not.
it's good. It's actually one of Black's better cards, which is, I guess, unfortunate, but
Yeah.
That is a little unfortunate. Alright, next card.
Carrion Crow, 2 and a black for a 2/2 zombie bird. Flying and enters the battlefield tapped. So Black Windrake that comes into play tapped.
So
C. I gave like a C minus plus minus.
card's fine. Card is just a Windrake, but the turn it comes
Yeah.
into play, it can't block. Like, it doesn't have any. Like, it has a very small amount of downside for being a black equivalent card, right? So it's fine. It does. It's
Yeah,
not
I
like
think
it
it's fine.
can't ever. It's not. It can't ever not block. It doesn't have 1 toughness. Like, it's fine. Card's fine,
Yeah, you're not gonna pick it early, but
but it's good
you're
enough.
gonna pick it mid pick.
Just a 2/2 flyer for 3.
Yeah.
He gets in there.
Caustic Tar's next card. 4 black for an aura. Enchant land. Enchanted land has tap. Target player loses 3 life. So we actually differed quite a bit on this card. So you gave it a C?
yeah,
I give it
I
like a D.
don't know if you played when this was an Odyssey,
No.
but it was actually very good back then. But that, I mean, old formats are slow and dirtly with good spells.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I could see this being like one of the best finishers for a control deck.
yeah,
I can see that too.
You have to activate it like at least twice to get enough to get like value. I
Which is
feel
like-
like, right?
6 damage for 8 mana.
And then if you want to activate it the same turn you play it, you have to have at least 7 lands.
It's 6 mana, right? It's not 8 mana.
yeah.
But you have to tap the land too.
7
So it's 7 mana.
Oh
So
yeah,
then
if you want to
can
activate
play
it that
and then
turn.
8th man of the next.
yeah, and
turn.
then they
It doesn't really do anything on the board, so that's why I gave it D range.
But you're right. It could be a control finisher. It does a lot of damage eventually, right?
Yeah, it does a ton of damage.
So I don't know. I would probably rate it like a D+. It's like
Like blunt. I could see myself picking this somewhat late and winning games with it.
Yeah.
Also, like we talked about, their control decks probably not being good or existing at all in this format. I mean, I guess they will exist, but they're not going to be that prominent, I don't think, right?
This is definitely the color you'd be if you were one, though.
Mm.
the rules are so bad. But yeah. All right, next card.
I
Child
think
of
it's honestly,
Night.
I think the control deck's black-green, it looks
Black
like,
green.
but we'll see.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Child of Night, 1 and a black for a 2/1 vampire with lifelink. Yeah, we gave this guy C range. He's a piker with some upside, having lifelink.
Yeah, Piker with but Piker with always upside. It's not like one of those like situational.
Yeah.
Does it have upside sometimes?
You're
or not?
probably gonna get at least your 2 life out of it.
Yeah,
sometimes more.
It was pretty
but
bad in M14.
It was, but the
on
things in
average, it's
M14
good.
were pretty big. Like, you had like, oh, I got a call from work. I'm gonna keep going.
All right.
No, this format has the same like curve as far as creature size that would blank Child of Night that M14 did.
Yeah,
I agree
and
that
there's
there's
not,
smaller dudes overall, but like there's just as many Riot Devils.
There's not like an abundance of good equipment or auras to make this guy
Yeah.
really good.
No.
So
Or
you have to
Exalted,
see,
like
see range. Yeah, Exalted. Yeah. Next is Covenant of Blood, 6 and a black sorcery with Convoke, deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life. So it's a pretty big life swing, but it's a sorcery, and is expensive even though it has Convoke. So we gave it a C+.
If it was an instant, I would probably put it at a flat B. But
yeah, it would probably
Yeah.
be close to B- or B.
If it was an instant,
It
yeah.
was
Here,
instant.
Steedy. You're running.
I don't think.
I
So
still
it
I see
is,
this being the
sorcery
best
speed
in like
warriors,
the white
Helix.
black deck, right?
What are you talking about?
White black
Covenant of Blood.
tokens.
What's that?
Covenant being best with white black tokens.
Yeah, right, with Convoke, the Convoke
Yeah.
mechanic coming into play.
But I mean, you can go to the face with this, so it's.
It also
it's
costs
gonna-
7 instead of 4.
Yeah.
Why would it, when does a spell like this ever cost
Warriors Helix.
War Leader's Helix costs 4.
Is exactly
Yeah.
War Leader's Helix. But it costs 7 and has Convoke and is a sorcery. And
Yeah,
it's
that's,
But
not,
Warriors
that's,
Helix
that's
is
a
like
gold spell and not a black
amazing card, yeah.
spell. And not a common.
So I would, yeah, it doesn't quite get into the B range of solid removal, but
Yeah.
you still play it.
It's real fine. There's actually not a lot of things in this format that don't die to that.
It just sucks that you have to like tap your guys on your turn to use Convoke, and then maybe
Yeah.
you can't.
Sorcery
That's why I
Speed
don't ever
Convoke's
like
kind of
Convoke, I'm
garbage,
not
but
an instant.
just how it is.
All right, next card, Crippling Blight. 1 black for an aura. Enchant creature gets -1/-1 and can't block.
This is actually a sweet thing to tutor with that dude that tutors auras, because you get to like,
Boonweaver Giant is now a 3/3. That can't block for 7.
we're talking about the 1/2
1,
for
2,
3.
3, yeah.
that's what
Because
I'm
you could like tutor this up and then make a guy can't block and like swing for lethal or stuff like that.
Right, it's like a good toolbox card if you have that card.
Yeah, it is a good dual box card.
So in
I
the
always
card
like these in my sideboard, especially.
card was really good in the format that it was in before, right?
At 13,
Yeah. Right?
It was
really
the
good. It was
greatest thing ever
good.
to
It
put
wasn't
on a
really
second
good.
goal.
It was good, but there were also like endless exalted X ones.
Yeah, there are a lot of X ones.
That's true. There are a lot of X ones in that format, less in this one, but it was good though.
It's gonna be like better in an aggressive deck, 'cause you can always just put it on their blocker and get in. So we gave it a C-. I think that's about right.
Yeah, it might go up if it ends up X ones end up dominating.
Yeah,
but
there end up being a lot of X ones.
a lot of the 1/1s are gonna be tokens, I think. So
But also like there's an infinite like 3/1s, right? There's like the 3/1 flyer. There's a 3/1 for 2. There's a lot of those guys too.
There's a lot of like, important guys who are X2s though, like the Anthem Lords and stuff.
That's
yeah.
true.
For those listening, Infinite and 10 are on the same order of magnitude.
This is correct. Next card is Cruel Sadist. It's black for a human assassin. That is a 1/1. Has black tap, pay a life, put a 1/1 counter on Cruel Sadist. Has 2 and a black tap, remove X 1/1 counters from Cruel Sadist, and it deals X damage to target creature. So this card is very, very slow as far as a removal spell. And then
Slow, yeah.
you're also not just getting to deal the damage or the number of counters, you actually have to remove the counters as well. So if you imagine this this card, you have to do it over several turns, pay several life anyway. So in order to remove a 3/3, you have to tap this and pay a black 3 times and pay 3 life. Then you have to pay 3 more, take those counters off, and then kill the 3/3, right? So in total you paid 6 mana, tapped your dude 3 times. What do you mean?
The 4th time you
Oh, you have to tap it a 4th time.
Yeah.
Tap your guy 4 times, and then it's back to being a 1/1, right? And you also paid 3 life, so you took the damage from the dude anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't get the life back when it does the second ability.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, you
know
should.
either. But
I think this card's actually pretty solid with if you just never activate the second ability.
He's a Chronometon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you have to
it's
also
not-
you don't get
it's
to,
not before.
but it's not free, right? It's not like you have to pay life each time.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think
by
that
much
matters
better. I
when
mean,
you're
I
making-
think the card's a C
Yeah, you guys both put it as B minus. This card's not a B minus. I'm passing this card often.
I think
put it as B. Oh, I thought it was the other one.
I think it breaks the C range because it is a pretty powerful effect, repeatable removal. Even
It's
if
not.
Even if it's slow and
It's
costly.
so slow.
Unless you have, oh no, there is
Like if
no,
you get
Eter-
multiple
uh,
cards with this card, it's
You
pretty
put
good.
Eternal Thirst on it, and it's the nuts.
There are some random ways
Oh.
to give it counters too.
Yeah,
But
it gets a
also-
1/1 counter
also-
when other things die, and it has
Yeah,
lifelink.
that's a lot of work though. It's,
I mean, it is.
Yeah, that's
and
a lot
you
of
won't
work,
get
but-
blown out by
You'll get
anything.
blown out.
You'll get blown out by a stiff breeze, but
But keep in mind, if you get this to a 4/4 or a 5/5, I'm pretty sure it's the biggest creature on the board. Like, not close.
Yes, but that was also like a mana investment too, right? Because you
mean-
have to pay a mana. It's not. Here's the thing.
It's only
Stella.
1 mana. It's not like a lot of mana.
Except that you're also like behind on board then from other things.
So
because you're not
did you not
turning.
play with Chronometon?
Chronometon was fine.
Yeah.
It was never like insane.
It was
it was
almost
very
always
good.
insane.
It was good. It was not insane, and this is much
was-
worse than that in the rare slot.
I don't think it's much worse. It is worse. You're losing life. But the second ability almost makes up for that because it will save you when
It's
you're
removal.
in a pinch.
Ugh, it's really not that good. Like
I would not. I don't think I'm going to first pick this card
yeah,
very
I
often
think
if I do at all. But I do think it's a lot better than you think it is.
they really nerfed this guy because they're afraid of it being too good. So, but I think it's still pretty good.
I think it's like C plus. I'm never first picking this card. It's very underpowered to me for a rare.
I think we'll have to play with it to see too. But yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
Next is Endless Obedience, 4 black, sorcery with Convoke. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So it's any graveyard, so you can target their graveyard too. But I gave this a D plus. You gave this a C plus.
I would be right in the middle. I think
I
I'd
don't-
make this a C.
Yeah, I don't like zombify effects in limited.
I also don't like Convoke on sorceries.
That's irrelevant with this though, because this is kind of like in the area of if you pay 4 mana and tap 2 guys and then you get their bomb, it's pretty good. Right?
Yeah, like this
Yeah.
kind of effect is what, like 5-6 mana anyway.
Usually.
Like Beacon of Unrest.
Yeah.
It's
Or
5 mana.
Or the one from the last format was 7, right? The
Yeah.
faded
Yeah.
retro.
That's
faded
right.
That
return.
was an instant and
Instant,
also
yeah.
gave it indestructible.
But
Yeah.
it still costs 7 with like
Yeah.
3 black symbols in it.
I think Beacon is closer.
I won games with that card.
Because you play awful.
So
cities.
you think this is like in the C range though?
Yeah, I'm probably a little high on C plus, but
C
and
minus.
the reason I'm high, I think it's better than C minus too. The reason is because this is this seems like a very bomby format, and it hits both graveyards.
Right. I agree with that though.
So that's why I'm high.
At the
I am
pre-release,
probably too high, but it's
Yeah,
gonna be
at-
insane at the pre-release.
at the pre-release, everyone's gonna have a bomb. So
Yeah.
Just hope you don't target their soul and they exile it in response. It'd be really sad.
All right. Next is Eternal Thirst, 1 and a black for an aura. Enchanted creature has lifelink, and whenever a creature an opponent control dies, put a 1/1 counter on this creature.
It's not the worst aura.
I think it's a D plus.
But it's still an aura, so we put it in unplayable range. D
Yeah.
D plus.
Right.
I could see sideboarding it in.
Definitely. If you see a deck with like very little removal, and also you have to ask yourself, would you pay 7 mana for a 4/4 lifelink that whenever a creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on this creature? It's pretty good.
Next, Feast on the Fallen, 2 and a black enchantment. At the beginning of each upkeep, if an opponent lost life last turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. This is like a multiplayer card to me,
This seems underwhelming.
and not even
to me.
great in multiplayer.
It's underwhelming, and it's also very win more. You have to be dealing damage to your opponent in order to get the counters, right? So
It's not. Win more might be a little rude with this card, just because like it might be just enough to keep you ahead to keep putting in damage because you're getting a counter, right? Like this could be the reason you're still winning. I do agree that most of the time it will be win more, but I don't think it will always be win more.
the only reason that this card gets a bonus is it has sweet flavor text from Thalia, Night Cathar.
It does take a couple activations of this, probably 3 activations of this too, for it to be like, you know, getting the mana you put into it and the time you put into it.
Yeah.
So one of the only ways this is good is if you're like getting one with like a flyer and it keeps getting bigger, right? Because like on turn 3, you play that 2/2 flying for 2, common, and then like next turn on turn 4 you play this and you attack for 2, and then it becomes a 3/3, and then you attack with for 3, and it becomes a 4/4. Like, could be okay, but it's still not that good.
Works really well if your opponent has a pain land in play, and they need the colored mana. Or if they're Voltroning up their guy, this sadist, whatever.
Let's not talk about hypotheticals here.
So we gave that a D.
It's not very good.
Yeah.
So, next card. Fester Gloom. 2 and a black sorcery. Non-black creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. So, I'm not sure how good this is going to be in the limited format. Sometimes Shrivel was, like, insane, right?
Yeah.
But
Shrivel's
Shrivel also cost 2 and it was an instant.
And affected every creature.
Yeah.
Right. Well, non-black is upside if you're playing black creatures, right?
Yeah.
It could, yeah, it's generally going to be better than if it didn't say if it was all
Yeah,
creatures.
right.
But
Shrivel wasn't an
it could also be
instant,
really bad if you're playing like
Wait,
the
black-
mirror, the black mirror.
Black mirror, right.
But
So,
it's not going to be that often. You gave this a C, Stella?
Yeah, it should be a C-.
it's probably a sideboard card, mostly.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sideboard card.
Right.
Yeah,
For sure.
D+ is
Red
fair
or white
too.
weenies
But I
is
could
good.
see
Yeah,
main deck
against red or
just
white,
because
it's
of
gonna
the
be very good.
There's a lot of times where
Against-
you're gonna have to do like really crappy attacks.
Against the tokens, this card's insane, right?
Yeah.
If someone goes like raise the alarm into triplicate spirits, and you just go Fester Gloom 5/1 you, right? Which is really a 2/1, but still insane.
Yeah, so I give this D+ just because I think it's more of a sideboard card. I don't know, you might main deck it, I'm not sure.
I don't think you
Deck's
main
really
deck this
bad.
card. Yeah, it's like a 23rd card if your deck's awful.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that good. Next card, Flesh to Dust. 3 and a black for an instant that's destroy target creature, can't be regenerated.
So, a black and a black.
Yes, so 5 mana
2
total.
black.
So this card is just the average destroy target creature, can't be regenerated clause on top of it. It's only for limited because it costs 5 mana, obviously.
It's the unconditional removal
I
spell
love
of the
this
format.
format. Yeah. So it is the murder with can't be regenerated tacked onto it for 2 more mana.
Is that worth 2 mana? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really not.
It's not worth 2 mana, but
See, you say that.
This
but
is
when
what
they
you
have their
get,
Ancient
right?
silver back out. You're gonna need it.
this is why you're in black, because of Flesh to Dust. Hopefully you're wheeling a lot of Flesh to Dust and stuff like that. So we gave this a solid B.
It is just very good.
Yeah.
This is going to be a first pick many a time for a common.
Yeah.
All right. Next card is a reprint that we've seen a number of times.
Gravedigger!
Gravedigger!
3 and a black for a 2/2 zombie. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I gave this a C++, and you gave this a B-.
Pretty close
I haven't
there.
played with Gravedigger in a while, so I forget how good he is.
But these kind
Format's got faster.
These kind of effects are always very good though, because it's just value, right? It's just value tacked onto your guy.
Like River Trawler, I guess, is the most recent one.
And that card is very good because it gets double the value
It was more specific, but it was also cheaper.
and gave double the value.
Yeah, I think this guy's definitely a role player in your black decks.
For sure.
You want like a couple, so you can recur them, so you can loop them, obviously.
All right. Next card is in Garruk's Wake, 7 black. Destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control. So
Plague Wind.
I don't know why this card doesn't say destroy all creatures and planeswalkers you don't control, because that would just be proper English. It literally doesn't make sense that it's worded this way, but it's fine
It's Plague Wind.
with the planeswalker tacked onto it
So
as
it's
well.
also plain
So
wind.
it's Plague
Better
Wind.
Plague wind, plain plague wind.
You
And-
gave this a C, Stella?
Yeah, it's too slow.
I give this a B+.
I
just 'cause
really.
it's Plague Wind.
How could you have given Calcify a higher grade than this?
Because it's 2 mana faster.
Calcify
And-
was 5 black or 5 white. I mean,
Yeah.
was it? So this is 9. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I think that Calcify is equally unplayable to this. But I mean that could be just be me.
I mean, how,
This is a card that goes way up in sealed, right? Versus draft.
Yeah.
You're jamming this in if you're playing black and sealed.
I mean, I think the don't get me- like if you hit 9 mana, you probably win the game if you draw this card.
correct.
Like,
But this is like in the black control deck that you're talking about though. So It is what it is. But
Like a mid-range.
I agree that it just costs too much. It might be playable in sealed. It's a 1,000% not playable in draft.
Definitely playable and sealed.
Yeah.
That's why I gave it a higher rating, I think.
In draft, if you have like
it's
4 or
Plague
5
Wind.
mana dorks, maybe it's playable.
Next is Indulgent Tormentor. 3 black for 5/3 demon with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card unless target opponent sacks a creature or pays 3 life.
So let's note that this is the pre-release promo. This card is almost unbeatable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's the
this
best
card's
pre-release
insane.
promo.
It's not close to the best pre-release promo,
Yeah.
which is kind of
Not
ridiculous.
close to
but-
not being close.
No.
Right.
Yeah, this is basically your Charioteers, except actually Charioteers was not that much better than Doomwake, so.
This guy's got to be better.
Yeah,
than
Doomwake was
Charioteers.
surprisingly good. People underrated that card a lot until it got played. But this card is very insane in every possible way. There's not that much removal in the format, so you're probably getting to draw a card or two off of this unless your opponent is just straight. Like, if this is 8 damage per turn, right? Like, think about that. If you're getting in for 5 and they're taking 3 so that you don't draw an extra card, it's insane.
Yeah, this is like the Punisher mechanic where your opponent has no good choices, really.
Yeah, they're all
Absolutely
poofy.
none. And it's a 5/3 for 5. Like,
And it flies.
it also avoids Pillar of Light, which is actually like super relevant, right? Like, only 2 of the promos avoid the white exile spell, right? It's just the green one and this one.
Yeah.
Pretty insane.
Does get lightning struck.
It does get lightning struck, but that's one of the only like things about this card, right? Like, it dies to red removal, but it doesn't die to much else.
Yep, but this is a slam first pick. You give this an A, I give it an A minus.
Yeah, this card wins the game by itself 100% of the
Yeah.
time.
Definitely makes me want to go black for the pre-release. I'm sure. Like
Are you only A minus because it's got 3 toughness and dies to burn spells and ulcerate?
part of it. Also, I don't know. The Punisher mechanic.
Yeah, but they're
It's
all
still
bad.
Bianchi hates things that lets your opponent choose things.
Unless it's fact or fiction.
He's losing value.
You are, because your opponent chooses what's best for them.
Oh,
but
no,
in
no.
this situation, none of it's best for them.
Yeah, especially if you put that the lifelink and 1/1 counter thing on it, because then when they sack a creature, it gets bigger and has lifelink, and they can't race it anymore. So
Oh my god, you're right. All right, let's fire Steed. Steed, actually get out of the room. Steed, also go open the door.
you're the one who closed it.
No, you're not.
That enchantment is definitely a Steed enchantment, by the way.
Yep,
That
100%.
lifelink counter thing, because it's not very good, but he's gonna play 900 times.
I
Very
mean,
true.
With Necrobite.
With Necrobite.
With Necrobite.
I was hoping you wouldn't mention it, so I could just jump out of my chair when you got to it.
No. Alright, next card is the Sliver of the black uncommon cycle. Leeching Sliver. 1 and a black for a Sliver. That's a 1/1. Whenever a Sliver you control attacks, defending player loses 1 life. Let's also please note that there is no underlying Sliver archetype in this set. It's actually just 1 mythic rare that costs 5 different colors.
And even if you
then
have other slivers, the fact that this one adds isn't great.
it's very bad.
You want to be playing this guy if you have like the white sliver, maybe.
And the only reason you want to play this guy because you're the white sliver is because you're hoping to draw this card after you draw the white sliver so you can exile more
Exactly.
dudes.
Yeah, right.
So,
Otherwise,
Fails
it's
the vanilla
hold it in
test.
your hand for forever.
yeah, it's not even a bear. It's really bad. So don't
We
draft
gave
this card.
it D range, not
Yeah.
playable.
It's pretty much not playable and limited.
Next, Liliana.
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 Yes. 3 black. Starts at 5 loyalty. +1, target player discards a card. -2, search your library for a card. Shuffle your library and put that card on top. And -8, put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control.
So let's talk about limited first. This card is a planeswalker. It comes out, and if you plus it, it's immediately at 6 loyalty. And your opponent's discarding cards. It's very good. If you have other bombs in your deck, the fact that you just get to search for them and just put them on top of your library is also very good. And the ultimate, obviously, is insane and wins you the game. So, this card, the only downside of this card is it doesn't make dudes or kill things to protect itself. So
Right.
that is downside.
It doesn't directly affect the board, but you can tutor for things that do.
Yeah.
So it's pretty powerful. The card itself is very powerful. We also haven't seen it in standard in a while, so I think the card, if we're going to standard applications, card is actually pretty good in mono black. Like if you're just like find my gray merchant, right?
Plus, like in the control against the control deck.
You just want them to be
Just plus
discarding
one over and
constantly,
over.
right? and then winning the game when you get to put multiple Gray Merchants into play. So I think the card's very good in general.
We gave it B+.
I
minus.
think there's like no Planeswalker that you can call like not an A- at least, or maybe A-, right?
I just don't think this card does anything like
Yeah.
to protect itself. Like this card is sweet, but like it just doesn't save you from behind.
That's true. It doesn't save you from behind.
It's the same thing with Jace. I gave her a B+- because I think she's worse than Jace. Close. It's close.
It's close.
But,
it's close. Her ultimate wins the game way harder than Jace does in limited, right? Because
I don't know if that's true every time. Is it?
If you're in a losing board position, and you get to ultimate either of these Planeswalkers, drawing 7 could just be 7 dead cards, and your opponent would have nothing in hand anyway.
It's really situational.
Yeah. I'm saying, but like, say for example, there's even like 3 creatures in all graveyards. You still get 3 dudes out of her ultimate, right? It's pretty powerful. So it's questionable, I agree, but I think this card is a little better than Jace in limited. So, but we'll see. Anyway, next card.
Mind Rot. 2 and a black sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards. You gave this a C-. I gave it a C. I guess I like this card a little bit better than you do.
Yeah,
it's definitely better in sealed than draft.
Yeah.
But,
sometimes when they get down
to
2 cards in hand, how likely is it that they have their 6/7 mana bomb? Pretty likely, right?
Mind Rot is a card you want to wait until they have 2 cards in hand. Like MJ always says that. And most often, I think it's gonna be average or above average when you do that.
Right.
But it's a really bad top deck, and sometimes it's just they have 2 extra lands in hand, and you get to toss them.
Yeah, sometimes it's bad, but it is what it is.
So the 23rd card, I'd say that's about right. 22nd, 23rd card.
Right. So next card is Necrobite. Almost kind of want to give Steve the honor of reading this card, but I don't really. So
no honor.
2 and a black for an instant. Target creature gains Death Touch until end of turn and regenerate it. So this card has been fine. It feels a lot like an in combat Doomblade many a times.
The combination of regen and Death Touch is nasty sometimes. Just complete blowout sometimes.
Yeah. So the 3 mana though is like a little it's a little on the higher side for combat tricks in general, but it is a very good defensive combat trick. So we rate this what do we rate this? A C-. Yeah. C-, C+- for you.
Yeah, I give it a C++.
Yeah.
I think it's a very solid C+.
It depends on how slow or fast the format is, right? Because if you're necrobiting and you're getting their bigger guy for your guy or something, it's
and
very
how
good.
combat oriented the format is. Like Theros was very combat oriented. There were a lot of combat tricks.
Right.
So Necrobite was insane in those situations.
Yeah, where it's just not as good now because you could actually do a lot of different.
You don't want to be making the first move by necrobiting. You want to be responding by necrobiting.
Yep. Next card. It is Necrogen Scudder. It's 2 and a black for a creature horror. It has flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you lose 3 life, but it's a 3/3. This is a flying 3/3 for 3.
In black, which is pretty
In
rare.
black.
Yeah.
With the only downside being you lose 3 life 1 time. This card is very good.
Yeah.
This card is very, very good.
Yeah, bigger than most flyers. On
Like,
average.
the only time that you're going to not like this card is when it comes into play, deals 3 damage to you, and gets lightning struck. Other than that, this card is going to deal way more damage to your opponent than it's going to deal to you.
Yeah. I think it's a B+.
Yeah, well, B+ is not first. It's really not a first pickable card unless the card pack is absolutely awful. But it's definitely in the C plus B minus range. I think it's definitely in there. Stella rated this a B, straight B.
B, yeah.
Straight B.
B is high. I think it's high. But
I think it's B
amazing.
minus, but it's very good. The card's very strong.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird because a lot of these black cards are very aggressive.
That one for sure is aggressive.
Alright, next card is Necromancer's Assistant. Also 2 and a black for a zombie. It's a 3/1. And he enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. So you get a vanilla 3/1 for 3, which is not the worst stats. It's pretty aggressive stats, actually. And then
You're milling yourself for your Gravediggers.
and you're milling yourself for your Gravediggers, right? So the card's fine. The mill 3 is super irrelevant. It doesn't really matter that much. There's not really a lot of graveyard-based things in this format, so it's just think of this guy as a vanilla 3/1 for 3, which is pretty good.
It's average, I'd say. That's why I gave it a C. You gave it a C minus, Stella.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not so powerful, but it's good. It's just good. He's solid.
Another really aggressive card though, like 3 power 3 drop.
Yeah, 3 power 3 drop.
again.
Right. So it's powerful. Next card.
Yeah, it might be a little low on a C minus, but
I don't think so. I think it's like a C, C minus, somewhere in there. Next card.
Necromancer's Stockpile, 1 and a black enchantment. You can pay 1 and a black, discard a creature card to draw a card. If the discarded card was a zombie card, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped.
Oh, I totally misread that card. I thought it was discard a card if it was a creature you get a zombie. That's way worse.
Yeah, no, you can only activate it if you're discarding a creature.
I mean, it goes well with
So,
Squee, but that's about it.
Yeah, you're already discarding a valuable resource because it's a creature card from your hand.
Yeah.
We gave this a D+. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have to be discarding a zombie for it to be doing anything good.
Yeah.
And then you want to get a couple activations out of it for it to be worth it. So, yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's not a very good card. I mean, like, the thing is, so if you're discarding a creature that's only as good as a 2/2 and drawing an extra card, then it's kind of okay, right? But you're like paying the extra mana, so, and like discarding a card to draw a card. So it's definitely questionable. It really depends. I mean, it could be really dependent on your deck. If your deck's full of bad dudes, right, then you might want to discard them, make zombies, and draw
bad
extra
zombie
cards.
dudes.
Right?
Keep that in mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'd be happier discarding a I don't know. I'd probably want to discard a Necromancer's Assistant to this to make a zombie and draw a card instead.
There's not a lot of creatures
Getting
that you're going to
Yeah, there's not.
upgrade.
Really, you're not
You're
upgrading
gonna
almost
bear.
anything. Yeah, it's really awful. So yeah, that card's it's pretty much the closest to unplayable as possible.
Yeah, we gave it D pluses.
Yeah. Okay. Next card is Nightfire Giant. 4 and a black for a zombie giant. He is a 4/3, and he gets +1/+1 if you control a mountain, and he has pay 5, deals 2 damage to target creature or player. This card is very strong.
Yeah.
The card is a 5/4. It's a 5/4 for 5 if you're in red-black. And every turn after that, you get to shock something for 5, right? So if this is the only thing that you're doing for the rest of the game at 5 mana, it's actually very powerful, right? Like if you have like nothing better to do and you keep passing the turn and like shocking their 2/2s out of the air, or eventually
shooting them.
Yeah, right? Or shooting them every turn in addition to dealing the extra damage. You can make your bad creatures trade with their better creatures. This guy's also just really big. He's a 5/4 for 5. Like, this card's strong. I agree with Stella in this card being a B. I could easily first pick this card. Very easily first pick this card. Card is almost as good as many of the rares in this set, if not better.
I thought he was weaker than the rest of the cycle and the other colors.
Do you?
I don't.
Like, I think he's actually maybe like a mana too expensive on either his base cost, or his ability cost.
Yeah.
So I gave him a C+.
He's much bigger than all the other ones. Like, the blue one is, like, not as good, really.
Yeah, but, like, he fails the vanilla test without the, well...
But you don't want him without the
We're
red.
assuming they're all gold, right?
Even with the bonus, he
with the
fails the
bonus?
vanilla test.
A 5/4 for 5?
5/4 for 5 is...
He's a fire elemental, but...
That's very normal.
Yeah, that's very normal.
I guess that's normal.
And I think this is the best late game ability, right? All their abilities are, besides the lifelink one, cost a lot.
Right.
This hits a player too, so it's kind of silly.
Yeah, it is definitely like.
So if you wanted to talk about like a control deck finisher, this is the control deck finisher.
Well, you just mow down their board.
Right. Exactly.
And you can't win once you get to the late game. All right. Next we have Obnixilis Unshackled, 4 black, legendary creature demon. It's a 4/4 flying trample. When an opponent searches his or her library, that player sacks a creature and loses to 10 life. And when another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Obnixilis Unshackled. This is the most ridiculous ability trigger ever.
It's so brutal.
So it's very in my opinion, it's so similar to Rurik Thar's trigger, right? Rurik Thar's trigger was like such an obscene number of damage for casting non-creature spells, right?
You edict them and lose 10. That's like twice as good as Rurik Thar.
Right.
Jesus.
So
they can't even prevent the damage. It's life loss. and it doesn't target. Like there's no like way around that if you ever search a library.
So you ready?
The thing is, in limited though. Let's talk about this card in limited though.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this card when your opponent has Court of Calling, and you Court of Calling in response. Get this card, and then they court and kill themselves.
It's the best. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it builds.
That's pretty powerful.
It's just the anti-cord deck.
So.
But in limited.
In limited. Let's talk about this card in limited.
First ability is not gonna happen.
So let's
say Kraken Evolving Wilds.
Ignore all the extra text on this card. Ignore all the extra text and say it's a 6 mana flying trample 4/4. It's pretty good. Right?
Well, its third ability is or its last ability is relevant. When a creature dies, it gets a counter.
Yeah. I'm saying
any creature too.
What I'm saying is I'm trying
creatures.
to ask if it passes the French vanilla test. Yeah. So does it pass the French vanilla test? The answer to the question is yes.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very powerful. And then on top of that, the second chunk of text is more relevant, like Steve's saying. Whenever a creature dies, put an extra counter on it, which is really great. And then the third line of text is probably irrelevant in limited, but maybe not. Maybe your opponent has an Evolving Wilds and forgets, right? And then just goes like, shit, take 10. Like, in limited, that's so much damage, right? Take 10.
Thank God they didn't reprint Fertilid. You could make your opponent search through their library for a basic
Force
land.
them to?
Yeah.
They can't fail to find. Can't they fail to find?
They can fail to find. They can't
They
fail to
still
search.
Can't fail to search, right? All right, so the card's good.
I give it a B. You give it an A-.
It's definitely a B plus A- range. It's somewhere in there because the card does win the game by itself. 6 mana is not that much for a bomb, especially in sealed.
Yeah, I kind of compare it to Sarah Angel.
Which is good.
Or Sengir Vampire.
Sengir Vampire with trample.
But I think he's a little worse than Sengir Vampire.
Because he costs 1 more, but
yeah.
I mean, he's
And
actually
his
a little
legendary.
better because he doesn't have to deal combat damage to the creature that died to get the coin.
That's only
That's
that one
true.
ability, yeah, but Sengir Vampire is 5.
You're a judge,
right?
stop calling him a coin. Alright, Paragon of Open Graves is the next card. It's 3 and a black for a Skeleton Warrior. It's a 2/2. Other black creatures you control get +1/+1. 2 black tap. Another target creature gains Death Touch until end of turn, and it has to be a black creature. So this is the cycle of 4 mana 2/2 lords that pump other black creatures or other X creatures, and it giving Death Touch is probably better than the Vigilance one, but it's a little more expensive. I'd much prefer like Lifelink on either of the white one or the black one, but it's not real, so it's okay. It's definitely not the worst, and obviously you're not attacking with this 2/2 for 4. So giving other dudes, like other bad creatures that you're pumping, like your 1/1, your black cat is now a bear, and it's attacking with Death Touch. It got much better, right? So I guess that's
black's like the worst color for an anthem.
it is by
But
far.
it's still an anthem, and I think Death Touch is very good, so that's why I gave it a B-. Still I gave it a C+.
Yeah.
I think the Death Touch part of it's actually really good.
Yeah, it's good, definitely.
It's more expensive than the other activated ones of Paragons, right? Like
It is,
9
but like
bucks.
the threat of activation, right, is
better.
there.
Yeah, I agree. Next card. Oh, what we give this one? We gave this card a C+ or B-. Wow,
Yep.
Alex gave us a B-. That's kind of surprising. I definitely think C range, C+. Because you just said it. Anthem's not as good in black, not even close, right?
But it's still an anthem, and the Death Touch ability I think is really good.
Yeah.
That's why I said B-.
So, next card, Rot Feaster Maggot. It's 4 and a black for an insect. It's a 3/5, and when it enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from a graveyard. You gain life equal to that card's toughness. So this is one of these cards that's like a vanilla 3/5 for 5 is like pretty average in black. And it has just upside, right? It only has upside because it could possibly gain you some life and get you back in the game. This is one of those like stabilization plays for the black deck, right? When you play your 3/5.
Siege Mastodon.
It's Siege Mastodon.
And then sometimes it's going to gain you 0 to 4 life or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
I like it. I mean, I
Pretty
like the
good.
card. I definitely think it's a C something. So we have a C and a C-. I agree with both of those things. It could be something that you don't want in your deck, and it could be something that you really want in your deck. It really depends.
Also, the artwork is Joe Steed after he's eaten all you can eat appetizers at Fridays.
Oh, you're right.
Appear to have mozzarella
Yeah.
sticks just fall.
It,
Yeah.
it actually is made of
turned
only
into a
mozzarella stick.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's Steed.
That is actually
Oh,
Joe
no.
Steed. It's Joe Steed's future tonight. All right, next card.
Shadow Cloak Vampire. 4 and a black for 4/3 Vampire. Pay 2 life, and it gains fly until end of turn. I like this guy a lot. I gave it a B-. Still gave it a C+.
I would agree with both of those things. I could see it somewhere in there because the card is well costed.
Strong common, I think.
It's a strong common for sure. So 5 mana for a 4/3 that you can kind of ping yourself, right? Ping yourself to.
You can turn it into a Sengir Vampire Sarah Angel.
Right, exactly.
It's expensive, but you don't. You might not always have to.
Right.
Activate it.
You won't. And also the other thing about this card is you choose whether or not it has the flying, right? So you can like make it flying, you can make it not flying, whatever to get in the damage.
In the air to dodge earthquake.
All kinds of stuff. But the thing is, the other part about this card is it's just a good card and it gives you the flexibility. Not paying mana is the key for me for this card. I love things that are just like pay 2 life for the ability that you want, because then you don't have to like invest any more resources into it. Like holding up mana is the absolute worst in some situations like this, so it's really nice that you don't have to do that.
Yeah, a lot of like suicide black type cards in this set.
A little bit,
Really
which I said
yeah.
is very aggressive,
Yeah.
right? Which is very nice.
This next card, Sign in Blood.
Sign in Blood as a reprint of many times, but it is black for a sorcery that says target player draws 2 and loses 2 life. So we've seen this before. It was in M13. The card was good in M13. The card's very good in this set, I think, because I think black is a very aggressive color. So paying 2 to draw 2 more cards is very good. Sometimes you just get to kill your opponent by making them lose 2.
Deal the last 2, and then they just have to sign the match slip in blood.
Or if they have
They did
one
it.
card left in their library.
That
too.
That only happens when you're John Jividan.
I think this is slightly above average. I gave it a C+.
Card's good. Card's just good in
C+
general.
is fine.
Would I give it a C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Card's good.
It is double black, but 2 mana.
You can always kill your
divination is
opponent with
very
it.
good.
Yep. The fact that it gives you the flexibility there is very good. Next card, it is the Soul of Innistrad. Black, 4 black for a avatar. It is 6/6 as all the other avatars or all the other souls are. It has Death Touch as its vanilla ability, and it has 3 black. Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, and then the same thing, but exile it with the 5 mana and return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So this card has probably the I want to say the second worst static. The second worst both static ability and the second worst activated ability, I think.
But you're comparing it to absolutely insane abilities of the other souls.
Correct. So I think
It's
this.
still a bomb.
Oh yeah.
it's
Here's
still
the
a
thing:
bomb.
in this format, 6/6 for 6 is gigantic. So that card is huge. In addition to being huge, it has Death Touch, so combat-wise, it's going to be winning, right? And then in addition to that, the mana ability isn't so overcosted mana-wise because it's exactly what you're paying for anytime you play a card like that, like March of the Returned or something like that. So you're just getting your dudes back, which is fine. The only downside to this card is in comparison to many of the other souls where they just single-handedly crush the rest of the game for you, like the white soul or the green soul that we'll get to later on. This ability itself doesn't actively win you, or the red soul we'll get to, like those abilities just actively win you the game without doing anything else, whereas this card does not.
Yeah, it's like a very specific type of game where that effect wins you the game. Like it's a grindy type card.
Right, and the
Which
only
I like a lot.
You combo with that
but-
Necromancer stockpile, so you pay 5 mana to get 3 creatures back, so
Right.
you can pay 6 mana to discard them and get 3
More
more
cards.
cards. And
That's a
zero.
combo.
that is a
It's
combo.
so stupid.
It's so bad. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
I need a
gonna
mythic
hold you
and
to
a
that.
rare.
Wow, sup, you all 3 ready to look to make out, and the other dude seems like he watches Powerpuff Girls non-ironically and hasn't ever hurt a man in his life. Also, what is the best way to make out with a girl who is made of pure hatred?
Oh,
but
he
her
watches
body,
worse than Powerpuff Girls, unironically, I imagine.
is looking good, and her chin is a reasonable size overall. So this is a powerful level of trolling. I do enjoy
I
it.
wouldn't say this isn't. Hey, I heard you bought hot dogs and then cried because they weren't a bag of dicks. That was powerful trolling. This is Baby Town Frolics.
What for?
Alright,
now
but
turn?
anyway, we gave this card A-, both of us.
Yeah,
It's still a huge bomb. You're gonna slam first pick this card. Probably a little worse than the other souls, but next card, Stab Wound. 2 and a black for an aura. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2, and at the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted creature controller, that player loses 2 life. This card was sick in RTR, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be sick again here.
Yep.
You gave it a B. I gave it a B+.
I would almost rate this card an A because I have
Almost
won.
A range.
I have won so many games with this card. The only
It is
reason that
close.
it's not going to be the reason it's gonna be sweet is because you can tutor this card with multiple effects, right? So you
Put
can,
it on your Bone Weaver
Put
Giant.
it on your Bone Weaver Giant. So you can tutor this card. The other reason this card is sweet, right, is it can actually win you the game. The the loses 2 life per turn is actually really relevant. And then the only reason it's not quite as good is because it is. I was gonna say ban them. It is an uncommon in this set instead of a common. So that's the only
Right, yeah,
downside.
they up the rarity.
But
But rightly so, I think. I think
Yeah,
it should
it
have
probably
upped the
should
rarity.
be an uncommon.
Yeah.
yeah, card's good. All right, next card.
Stain the Mind. 4 and a black sorcery with Convoke. Name a non-land card. Search target player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. So it's the extraction effect, Memoricide effect with Convoke.
I think
Not
it's-
playable in any form. Limited though.
Yeah, it might be okay in standard.
I give this an F. There's no way I'm playing this card ever.
I actually could see it being
Even if you're extracting their bomb,
relevant. No. If they for some reason have 2 or like, let's say they somehow got like 3 or 4 of an uncommon that you saw game 1. Like then this card's okay.
No, I'm not even bringing this in then. Still, you gave it a D plus. You would
Who sideboard this
consider
card?
fighting it?
I think if they have like something you can't beat, it's playable.
Right. If there's something you can't beat, this is your only answer to it. But it's gotta
The
be an
thing is-
expensive card, right?
That-
Because
Because this is expensive, but also because this is a rare, right? Like, how often are you going to have this as a sideboard card? If it was an uncommon, I could be like, oh, this might be a sideboard card sometimes. This is a rare. You're going to have, like, get, last
No,
pick.
it's a rare, which means it's good and you have to play it.
Stella,
like-
I want you to actively end yourself right now.
it's also BBD's invitational card.
Yeah. Does that look like BBD? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah,
It looks a
it's-
lot like
it's on the
BBD.
card.
You're right. You're right.
Next is Typhoid Rats. 1 black mana for a 1/1 rat with Death Touch.
So this is the Doomblade of the set.
It's the
It's
black.
the black-green
no,
Doomblade.
it's the black
Yeah.
green Doomblade because it's the black
Ah.
Farikis.
It's the Freakish Chosen, you're right.
So, but it's actually the black.
It's the black, green, black Doomblade.
Right.
No, black, green Doomblade.
Yeah, black green.
Black, green Doomblade. I
So-
give this a C plus. Yeah, we both gave this a C plus. Solid.
It's just good at what it does. It
Yeah.
blocks for days.
It's not
right?
quite a removal spell, but it's almost.
It always gets its man.
Yeah, he does get his guy.
All right, the next card is one of the sweetest cards I think for every format. It is Ulcerate. It's a black for an instant that says target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. You lose 3 life. So it's similar in flavor to something like Dismember.
And
I-
cost. and
right?
Effect.
Yeah.
It's Dismember,
Cost and
yeah.
effect is
It's-
also
it's
similar
close.
to Dismember. It's not because it's set, right? You don't get to sometimes not pay the 4 life for the Dismember to make it colorless and cost 1, whereas this always costs 1, but it only always gives -3/-3, and you always lose the 3 life. So it's not directly comparable to that, but it's similar in a lot of effects and the way the card works. There are a large number of things that are
die
X3
to
and
it.
lower in
Yeah.
this
This
format.
kills almost everything.
Yeah, it kills
Except
almost
for
anything
rares,
for
I think.
1
Yeah.
mana.
It kills almost anything that's not a rare for 1 mana, correct. So,
Yeah.
card is very good.
You only gave this a B minus, Stella?
I don't like the 3 life.
Yeah, okay.
The
I
3
think
life,
it's too much.
it is what it is.
I mean, if you're gonna get hit for 3 with it anyway, then it's like.
So let's talk about this card.
It does kill the black promo.
It does, and you only have to take 3 life
I
instead
give it a
of.
B plus. You give it a
3
B
life
minus.
multiple
It's definitely in the
times.
B range.
It's very good. It's
But
very
you're
good in
saying
limited.
Eternal formats?
I think this is playable in probably every format.
I was thinking like the Bug Delver deck in Legacy already plays Disfigure
Figure.
sometimes, right?
Right.
And this is
Yeah.
This
sort
is
of
better
better
than
in that
Disfigure.
type of deck.
Right.
Yeah.
It's better than Disfigure. It's just actively better than Disfigure because you don't like the 3 life is definitely relevant, but sometimes you actually want the 3, right? The 3 is actually relevant in some cases. Disfigure never kills a Tarmogoyf. This will definitely sometimes kill a Tarmogoyf, similar to how Lightning Bolt
Yeah, more
sometimes
often.
gets to kill a Tarmogoyf. So that's why this card would be better. I would probably play like a split of Disfigure in this card because you don't always want to be actively like losing that much life. You don't want to play like Ulcerate 3 times in a row and be at 11 in addition to the fetch lands and stuff. But sometimes this card is much better than Disfigure.
the jump from of like number of X2s to X3s isn't huge. Like they're not in a huge amount of X3s.
Right. So you do want this card sometimes though.
There are like random X3s like Sarah, Avenger, and shit like
It's
that.
a number of times I've had that kind of situation. So definitely makes its way into other formats, which is really sweet. I like it a lot. The next card, Unmake the Graves. 4 black for an instant. Has Convoke, and it's return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So this is the March of the Returned of the format, or the Grave Digger type of spell.
I think
the fact that
it is an instant
type of spell in this
but the
format.
fact that this card it costs only 1 more than March of the Return and is an instant
and gets Convoke
makes it much better, right? So I think this card is pretty good. I'm not going to play it in a lot of decks. I will play it sometimes.
Yeah, that kind of effect is like your 23rd card, right?
Yeah.
It's your 23rd card,
C-.
and it's only in some decks where it's actually like usable. So yep, C- or even D++ is kind of where you're at with the 23rd card, and not only in some decks. Next one.
Wall of Limbs. 2 and a black for a 0/3 zombie wall. Defender, when you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Wall of Limbs. And pay 5 black, and sacrifice it. Target player loses X, where X is Wall of Limbs power. Yeah, this card isn't very good. Like, it's hard to trigger. Really expensive ability. It doesn't do that much. This card's actually awful.
Like, you don't want to live the dream of having a 2023 wall and then just paying 7.
I do want to live the dream, Stella.
And the game's over.
The Wall of Rob M's.
Yeah. That's a little bit of a stretch there.
That was a deep stretch. I'm not sure what relation he has to the card. Is
It rhymes.
Ends in his last name.
Yes, that's the only relation there. Powerful.
Yeah, this is definitely D range.
Yeah, the worst possible. It's very low. Alright, next card is the actual player-created card. It's called Waste Not. It's 1 and a black for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, you get a 2/2 black zombie token onto the battlefield. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, you add black to your mana pool. And whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land, draw a card. So this enchantment, much like all other 2-mana enchantments, as I mentioned before, is very pushed. It's pushed extremely hard. And it has so much text. So, in Limited, don't ever play this card. It is bad.
Yeah, we gave it D minuses.
Don't ever play this card. However, in Eternal formats, this card might be actively insane.
Yeah, this is a constructed card for sure.
It's
I don't know if it's gonna be good in Standard or not. Like, I actually hate this card, but people really like this kind of card.
People want to grind this card, go like Waste Not into Liliana, right?
Like, I absolutely hate that stupid Modern deck. That's like the rack.
Like the Pox deck.
Yeah.
It's not even Pox. It's just like the rack deck. I hate those kind of decks, but people love that deck for some reason.
I mean, think about
so
how insane
gonna,
this is.
like
If you go
this
Waste
card.
Not into...
Yeah, in Magical
Whispering
Dreamland, it's gonna
Madness.
be good for like a very short window.
Whispering
And maybe
Madness,
then,
pitch their whole
maybe they pitch
hand.
lands and you get like Dark Rituals or whatever, but then you can't use the mana. You know?
So the concept here was, say for example, say you go Waste Not, right? And the next turn you go Hymn to Turok, your opponent, and they discard a land and a spell. You draw a card, you have 2 mana in your mana pool, you play your 3rd land, and you just play Liliana, make them discard. They discard a land, and you Hymn to Turok them again because that's what you drew, right? They have no cards in hand, and you have 2 permanents in play and have drawn like a million cards. So,
Wait,
if
are
we're
we
thinking
somehow spending like 7 mana on turn 3? Did that just happen?
No, I actually spent exactly enough mana, right, Steve? Did I do that? So, on turn 3, you use 2 mana,
They,
2 black
they,
mana.
over the course of the turn, pitch 2 lands.
So you
Oh,
generate
you're
4
right.
mana.
Yeah, you're
black
right.
mana.
Yeah. They pitched 2 lands, yeah.
But Hymn to Turok's random, so they pitched a land and a spell. So you made 2 mana and you drew a card. You played your 3rd land, played Liliana. You made them discard another land and you play another Hymn to Turok, right? So that's like just super insane.
Or you like turn 1 quad Dark Writ, and then you play Waste Not and Mind Twist.
Oh my god! You're right. All right, so I mean, this
Game's
card
over.
has potential. Let's put it that way. In constructed, but let's keep moving.
All right, Witch's Familiar, 2 and a black for a 2/3 frog. Ribbit. It's Riot.
It's just
Devils.
riot. It's just riot frogs.
So,
Solid C minus. We gave it a C minus.
It's Ribbit Devils.
So if you're looking at a frog and you're
I'll take
looking
that
at,
one, Steve.
If you're looking at a frog and you're looking at a beer, which is a familiar?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't catch that stuff.
It was bad.
It was bad. You're right. You're right.
Oh,
It
which
was
is
bad
the
and annoying.
Which is the familiar, guys? It's a question.
Oh, which is the familiar?
I got you.
Now I get it.
You're the worst, Stella.
So on to
that was
Zephyr's
the plan.
Sliverblade.
I'm not
Sliver
looking to
blade?
get the best.
What?
It's not a sliver.
I got really excited.
or Sliver
for a
Blade.
second.
Or Sliver blade.
All right.
Zathrid's Sly Blade, 2 and a black for 2/1 Human Assassin with hexproof. You can pay 4 until end of turn. It gains first strike and death touch. This card's really sweet to me. I gave it a B minus. You gave it a C plus.
I think it's too much of a mana investment.
Yeah, the only reason why I didn't give it higher, I wanted to give it a higher rating, but you know it's only a 2-power guy, so it's not gonna have a huge effect on the game. But I really like its 2 abilities, and they work well together.
Yeah.
Freaking untargetable, like blocking machine. And then I mean,
Although how
you could get blown out by instant speed removal.
Yeah.
Or how bad does it feel to, in the middle of combat on their turn, activate the ability and then they go, what is it, Forge Devils that pings something and they end you for 1?
Well, if you're activating it, you're assuming that you killed something. That's the only reason why you would activate it.
Yeah, to kill something in combat, and then
Yeah.
they're like,
And then second main they do
Are we
something.
even live, you piece of shit?
Are we live? Yeah, people are talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there.
we had Trolly McTrollerson.
Oh, we did, but you're just like not on my feed.
That's sad.
On the feed for Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Check.
I'll check. You guys keep talking.
All right. So Zathrid's Sly Blade. Do we need in the card already?
Yeah, we already did all that. We're on
So-
this Offshade.
All right. So Sly Blade was bad, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We determined this card's bad. It's got lots of flavor. It's got infinite flavor.
Yeah.
Any chance it's gonna see play in standard?
No, absolutely not.
It's
It's
way
the
too
actual
slow.
worst.
Mono black hexproof. Boom. Found it.
You're right.
You're right. Oh my god. All right. So next card, Zoth's Shade. Do we read this card yet?
No.
It's 4 mana. It's 3 black for a shade, and it's a 2/2, so it's 2/2 for 4, and
It's got weird swamp breathing.
and it's got swamp breathing. So it's got
Swamp.
Swamp breathing.
3 mana. It's 2 and a black for
It's the shade
+2
ability.
+2. So
It's more expensive than the regular shade ability.
It's
though.
more expensive than the regular shade ability, except it's less colored mana intensive.
Yeah.
So you only need 1 black and 2 colorless to create +2/+2. So you're getting like 1.5 per 1.5 mana per 1+1+1, but it costs less black, which is okay. This card is not very good,
Reminds me of Perilous Shadow.
but Perilous Shadow.
I like that card.
Yeah, the 04.
Mm-hmm.
But that card's much
That
better.
card is very
that blocks
good, yeah.
way harder.
This one is better, I think, because he starts as a 2/2,
I mean, it's more aggressive, but not necessarily.
and then
bad.
Perilous
And
Shadow
he
was
doesn't
like a
pump
lot
as
more
fast
mana.
though. 'Cause the other one was only.
Oh, the other one pumped better.
yeah, Perilous
the
Shadow.
other one's 2
okay.
mana for
Pump.
2/2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a better pump then.
All right. So it's card's okay.
I still
It's
think you
playable.
want one in
It's
your
a-
black decks.
It's a C. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes it's a finisher.
It's a nice late game card, yeah.
Yeah. All right. On to the red cards. I love the art for this card so much. Act on Impulse is
Yeah,
actually a
sweet.
sweet card. It's a sweet card in general. It is 2 and a red for a sorcery. It says exile the top 3 cards of your library until end of turn. You may play cards exiled this way. So essentially, it's kind of like draw 3. In a sense where it's very similar to Chandra's 0 ability, where you can obviously only play the card that turn, and if you've already done something that like has to do with the card that you're playing, you don't get to do that. So
It's never gonna be draw 3 though.
right.
No, it's not even close.
Oh no.
If you're lucky, it's divination.
It's closer to was it Uncover the Clues or Forbidden
No.
Alchemy, where you look at like you're basically gonna look at the top 3 and be like, okay,
I get to play this
I'm gonna
card.
choose this
I
card.
mean, it's
as
3
well.
activations of Chandra's 0 ability.
Right. So here's
Yeah, but
the
you're
thing.
spending 3 mana. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right, you have to have like 9 mana if you want to incidentally draw your bomb and still be able to play it.
And then if
right?
you hit like 2 lands, then it's like the second one's useless.
Right, exactly. So no, I was not comparing this card to draw 3, but I'm just saying that like it's a similar effect to like Chandra's 0 ability, right?
Also,
so
it's super bad that
it is drawing extra cards.
This is
but it's
definitely
not.
a trap card. Don't play this.
Yeah.
it would be
Yes.
it would be
Not good.
much better if it was until your next turn.
I
you
want
could play
to
it.
let's
so that you
put
could
it this
at
way.
least
I
shoot
want to
something
play
in
this
there.
card in standard. I want to play this card in standard next
Cheerios?
format. Yes. Snap off the Cheerios. So
So
powerful.
I picked up a bunch of Multani's presences for you today.
Yeah, we gave this D+, unplayable.
It's pretty unplayable and in limited. So
Yeah, in limited.
Santini in limited, it's pretty unplayable because you just don't know what you're ripping off the top in limited. It could be awful. So I think it's playable in other formats though. I'm pretty excited to play it in other formats actually. So next card is the card that was designed by the creator of Minecraft.
Nice.
As you can tell by the art,
By the art.
it is
And
called
mining.
Aggressive Mining. 3 and a red for an enchantment. It's a rare. You can't play lands. Sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards, and activate this ability only once per turn. So I've already seen several pretty interesting EDH decks and a Legacy deck with this in it.
Fast Bond or Mana Bond,
Right. So
Oh,
or
Fast
just
Bond is sweet.
Mana Bond
yeah.
lets you like play lands when your opponent plays
Current
lands.
Tribe Scout.
That's burgeoning.
Oh, burgeoning. So burgeoning with this card
Yeah.
as well is actually actively insane.
But in M15 Limited,
It is unplayable.
It's
Don't play
Yeah,
this card.
I can't play it.
I give it a C- because I'm like, if your deck's like kind of slow, maybe you want a 4 mana, draw 4 over 2 turns, sack 2 lands.
But then you can never play lands for the rest of the game though, because unless you
Yeah.
destroy your own enchantment, so you
Yeah,
just
but
don't want to
if
play
it's
this card.
like turn 12 and you have a bunch of lands already,
God.
you don't need to play more lands, right?
Oh man, Bianchi, you're fired.
So I think there's a time when you might play as your 23rd card. So
Nope.
I give it a C-.
Matt's rather adamant on making this a one-man show.
The card's so bad.
You
It's
gave
powerful.
you gave it a D.
I agree with Stella. It's pretty bad.
I'll probably play this in a deck.
Oh, you will. It's so powerful. All right, next card.
Altek Bloodseeker, 1 and a red for a 2/1 human berserker. When a creature an opponent controls dies, Altek Bloodseeker gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and haste on turn.
So
Don't know how relevant the haste will ever be.
the haste will be relevant sometimes, but I think this card's good. I think this card's good for what it's a stats. So it's just naturally a piker, and if it had no upside, right? And then sometimes you play a removal spell, your opponent's creature dies, and it's a 4/1 first strike, right? And then other times
Yeah.
it could be like, hey, I'm gonna play this removal spell, and then just with my 2 mana, because I just drew this card, play this guy, right? And he gets haste and kills your opponent.
Also good with, once we get to it, the deal 1, deal 2, and deal 3 card.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane if you get to kill 3
Oh my god, if you
things.
get to kill 3 things, woo!
Yeah.
Oh!
But yeah, we give this a solid C+. I think it's definitely up there.
It's definitely up there. It's very good.
Piker with a really nice upside.
Very, very positive upside.
I will be right back when you do the next card.
Okay.
All right.
Belligerent Sliver, 2 and a red for a 2/2 sliver. Slivers creatures you control have. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures.
So this card by itself is barely okay.
Yeah.
Card is understated for the other cards in this format where there are so many like 3/1s for 2 or 3/1s for 3, and some of them have flying. Like this card is very understated for its
In the
abilities.
same set, there's a 2/2 Intimidate for 3.
Right,
This
exactly.
is just worse than that.
So this card is not that good, and this card is one of those cards where you only want to play this card if you have the white sliver, because that's the only playable sliver by itself. So this card is like a 23rd card in a red aggressive deck or something like that, but it's overall not very good. So I would suggest probably not playing this card unless it is exactly that for you. If you're playing red-white and you have other slivers, or the white sliver, or if it's your 23rd card.
And apparently, slivers also look like this, which what the fuck is this?
It's a fucking
Tentacle
lion.
monster. Yeah, lion.
It's Japanese.
Yeah, man.
Why do slivers look so new again?
Again,
I don't know.
It's Sliver
Different
2.
again.
The recent
Sliver
integrate.
4.0.
I'm just sad this one doesn't have huge hips like the blue one.
Yeah,
Right.
the blue one's like another type of sliver.
The
What
blue
the
one
fuck?
had a lot of junk in the trunk.
Who knows what's
Yeah.
going on with them?
next card.
Blastfire Bolt. 5 and a red instant. Blastfire Bolt deals 5 damage to target creature. Destroy all equipment attached to that creature.
So-
Instant turn to slag.
For one more, it's instant speed turn to slag. I like the card a lot. There is a decent amount of equipment in this set, even though many of the pieces of equipment are not very good. But I like this card. It's very good for the red removal, and
Easy
it
to
kills.
splash.
It kills like everything in this format too.
Yeah.
Like 5 damage is infinity damage in this format.
Yeah, you only give this a C plus, Stella? Just because this is expensive?
It's not really a
It's
first
6
pick, so
mana.
I think I agree with his C plus.
I give it a B because I don't know, there's the removal's not great in this set, I feel like. So I rated this a little bit higher.
Red actually has decent removal though.
It does.
It has some good removal, yeah. And this is one of them, I think.
This next card?
How
No.
often are you gonna get an equipment with it?
No,
'Cause
no,
that
no.
makes
Not
this
that often.
much
That's
better.
not part
yeah,
of
but
it,
I don't
yeah.
think that happens
So
enough.
you're gonna
for
get
this
an
game.
equipment 10% of the time,
Yeah.
if that.
I
I
think
that's high.
in
I think 10% is high.
in M13, turn to slag was great because there were the rings,
They're
right?
the rings, right?
were
Yeah.
awesome. In this set, there's not really good equipment. Next is Borderland Marauder. 1 in a red for a 1/2 human warrior. When it attacks, it gets +2/+0 till end of turn.
So this card is, when it's on attacks, it's a 3/2 for 2, which is
Really good.
very good.
Yeah,
So this card is very good.
really good in the red aggressive deck. We give it a
Right.
C plus.
Yeah.
Like in the red-white deck in this format, if there is one, it's going to be really good.
Alright, next is Broodkeeper. 3 in a red for a 2/3 human shaman. Whenever an aura becomes attached to Broodkeeper, put a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. It has pay 1 red. This creature gets +1/+0 till end of turn.
Yeah, so things Dan Sella is gonna do way too often is play this card
This
and
card.
try to draft as many Inferno Fists as possible.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, there are good red auras.
All
There
in
are
every
two
time I
good.
see a Brood.
There are two
Two
good
good red
auras.
auras
Yeah.
in this set. Unfortunately, it means you have to be playing auras and putting it on this thing. You do get like
You get a dragon. That's insane.
you do get a furnace whelp out of it, which is really
Yeah,
good.
Which is
yeah.
really good.
I gave it a C minus. You gave it a C plus.
This card could win games by itself if it ends up being good, and it's also like an interesting build around me card. So
Yeah, I would give this a B if I was like crazy, and was like my rating was based on how I would actually draft the card.
Yeah.
I could almost see putting an impressive raise on.
You're gonna want to have like at least 4 auras in your deck with this card, right?
Yeah, but Inferno
3 or
Fists,
4.
you want them.
Yeah,
There's
right.
there's a few that you actively
Right.
want.
It's just
so
that
I
you
could
can't
see
pick this
being
early.
good.
I don't think.
Yeah.
next card.
Burning Anger. 4 and a red for an aura. Enchanted creature has tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player.
So
This-
outside the fact that this is an aura, this card ends games real fast.
Yeah.
This card is your
Yeah.
creature suddenly becomes unblockable or can shoot down the guy's entire army.
If you get to untap with this card, it's pretty insane.
You don't even have to untap with it. You get to
Yeah,
use it once.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
You
use
get
it
to
more than
use it
once.
multiple times.
Yes, if you get to use it more than once, this card is insane. So
Especially if you put it on the black.
You want to be careful when you're casting this card because you can get blown out pretty easily. But yeah, solid. We gave it a B minus. I think it's definitely.
It'd be better if it wasn't an aura, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes this card is just gonna be insane, absolutely insane. You're gonna kill like 3-4 things with it,
yep,
and then
for
start
sure.
doming them without having to attack.
All right.
So moving on, we
Our
got
next card is the reprint of Chandra Pyromaster. 2 and red for Chandra. She comes in with 4 loyalty. +1, she pings a player and a creature that player controls.
Creature
and,
can't block.
and it cannot block this turn. 0, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn, so it's basically like draw a card, pseudo draw a card. And -7, exile the top 10 cards of your library. Choose an instant or sorcery card, exile this way, copy it 3 times. You may cast the copies without paying their mana cost. So
they brought back the best Chandra ever made.
Correct.
So this card is very good. Card's a planeswalker. Card's hard to beat. Card pings things and kills things. Card draws you cards. You're probably never ultimating it in limited.
Yeah. I did have somebody ult it and to have it die, and they whiffed on the ult, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened.
Going to
So-
game.
So, ignoring Steed, this card is an A- on everyone's scale, and it's because it's a planeswalker and it's very good. The end.
Yep.
The end.
Pretty.
The ultimate's not the greatest though.
No. The ultimate doesn't win you the game very frequently.
First two abilities are pretty good. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And
solid A minus.
And it protects itself. Obviously, it's aggressive with the camp blocking and stuff like that.
It's not great at protecting himself, but it can shoot down X1s.
Next card, Circle of Flame. 1 in a red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature without flying attacks you or a planeswalker you control, Circle of Flame deals 1 damage to that creature. So I feel like this was printed for exactly one reason, and it was printed for the Is It control deck in this format, where you open Formous chests, and on the trigger, you instant speed make everything a 1/1.
Surely you jest.
I do not jest about polymorphous
Surely
chests.
you jest.
And don't call him Shirley.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
His name's Matt. Come on, Bianchi.
Come on, Bianchi.
Yeah, you're right.
How could you forget your brother's name? All right.
I don't know
so
where the camera
You
is.
put this
so I
at
can't figure out
D minus.
This-
Just unplayable.
This card's unplayable. It's very bad.
You might
They're
side it
actually
in.
kind of lolsy in multiples. Like, if you somehow fuck up your draft and end up with 5 of these things,
You fucked up real hard.
they're really good if you can get all 5 into play at once, and none of their things flop. They can't ever attack.
Don't play this card though.
Next
Don't
card
do it.
Don't do it.
is Clear Path. Clear Path is a red. For sorcery, destroy target creature with Defender. So, sweet, because it's got lots of flavor,
This is from RTR block, right?
Yeah.
and it is from RTR block. The card is actively bad, and you should never play this card. It might get sideboarded in if your opponent is playing some kind of walls deck.
Like mono defenders.
Yeah, you have to see multiple walls to board this in.
You have to see like more than 3. Like even 2.
You see more than one wall that you can't get past.
Correct. So it's bad. But if you see like 4 walls of ice, feel free to bring this card in.
Yep, so we gave it like D range because it could be
You
sided
sideboarded,
in,
but it's not.
but not great.
So next is one of the best removal spells in this format.
Cone of Frame.
Cone of Frame.
3
Cone of Frame.
red sorcery. Cone of Flame deals 1 damage to target creature player, 2 damage to another target creature player, and 3 damage to a third target creature player.
So for a 5 mana investment, it's dealing 6 total, forked over 1, 2, and 3. Card is strong. Card's an uncommon. So I mean, how often did you like playing Flames of the Firebrand? Often, because that card was sweet as fuck. This card is very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Even if you have to be like, I ping myself for
Very,
1
very good.
and then ping something else for 2 and ping something else for 3,
Yeah, it's like a Searing Blade.
it's
type
still
thing,
super good. So this card is always good. This card is actively first pickable.
yeah. We give it B's.
Yeah, card is very good.
Solid B.
Might even be B plus if you're okay with immediately being in red, but it's very strong. So next card is a sweet card, flavor wise. It's got sweet sweet art. It looks like one of my favorite movies, Gladiator. Crowd's Favor, red. For an instant, has Convoke. Target creature gets +1 and first strike until end of turn. So this is exactly the same as like a million other cards that have been printed, but they just added Convoke onto it, which makes it better on defense because you can actually have no mana up and just a red dude, right? You're playing red guys, and you can block and first strike, right? And first strike something down, which is pretty sweet. But on offense, obviously, it's still exactly the same as any of those other exactly the same abilities, right?
Yep. Yeah, we both gave it a C because it's gonna make your deck most of the time if you're an aggressive red
Okay.
deck.
But it's sweet
Yeah.
on defense. I think this card's sweet on defense.
Nice that you don't have to
Just 'cause
be
you can
representing
trick
it,
someone?
know.
You can just
Always-
represent
always be
anything with this
representing
card.
it.
Yeah,
It's
which
not-
is
it's
sweet.
not obvious. Moving on, Crucible of Fire, 3 in a red enchantment. Dragon creatures you control get +3/+3.
There are 2 dragons in the set, and that lady makes a bunch of dragons. But if
Khaleesi?
you combo it with her, she's making 5
Khaleesi?
dragons.
Oh man, you just got to combo with that card that Stella's gonna draft. Stella's gonna.
If only
yeah.
it was an aura, you
The
could
mother
attach
of
it to her
dragons.
Oh yeah,
to
you
Not
get a
that.
5/5.
infinite 5/5 whelplings. Or
So
whatever
let's
it
just
is.
keep going because this card is
We
an
gave
absolute.
we
F.
give this an F for fire.
Yes, F for fire. F for
This
fire.
card is fired.
F for fired because you are fired if you play this card. All right, next card. It is Forged Devils. It is a red for a 1/1, and when it enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to target creature and 1 damage to you. So the number of times that this card is going to come into play and kill a 3/1 flyer for 3 is going to make me really excited. It's going to make me pretty hard, but Otherwise,
a fair number of like 2-1s. And
there's so many X1s in this format.
Yeah.
There is a large number of them.
There's a good number. So we gave this. You gave it a C. I gave it a C minus. Yeah, I played this card a lot in whatever set it was the last time, and I liked it.
It's good.
So.
Card's fine for a 1-drop, surprisingly.
It's like you get to kill something, a small thing, and then you get a body, right? So you can like jump block or something.
Right. Like, how often did you actually end up playing like Electrickery or something like that in your deck, because it actually is pretty good against that type of card, and then you just get a body attached to it, which is pretty sweet.
You can't play this on an empty board though, because it kills itself.
Correct. Don't do that. I've seen someone do that on Moto. Next card is a reprint from RTR block as well. It's Foundry Street Denizen. It's a red for whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Denizen gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So
it's a 1/1.
And he's a 1/1. So this card is good.
This card is boss.
This card is the MVP of Tom Ross's deck. Not going to lie. But this card's good. Card's fine.
Did I really give this a... Oh, yeah, okay. I give this a C. You gave it a D+. You don't like this?
I think it's pretty good in the red, very aggressive decks.
I don't think it's ever going to be much bigger than... Because it has to be a red creature to get the bonus, so it's not going to be much bigger than a Piker ever.
Yeah, but 1 mana 2/1 in an aggressive deck is good.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet if you have the Rabble Master.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you have the Frenzied Goblin, man? Just like this guy, and then Frenzied Goblin, and woo, spice.
I mean, they don't like necessarily combo, but Frenzied Goblin's good card.
Next card.
Which we'll get on to next.
Frenzied Goblin, red for a 1/1 Goblin Berserker. Whenever he attacks, you may pay red, and if you do, target creature can't block this turn. So this snap goes into Tom Ross's deck.
Yeah, I mean this card was really good in standard and original Ravnica, in the Heezy Street deck. So in limited, still good.
The BZ Street deck.
The BZ Street
deck. You're right.
BZ would never play red.
Yep, BZ doesn't play that color. He isn't. He is not a fire mage or a tier mage. He is
too hard into the broccoli.
He loves broccoli.
You gave this guy C-. I gave him C+.
I agree with
C. I think he's better than average. But he's still one man.
He's also only in one archetype though. He's only in a red X or red aggressive deck. So he's a C.
I like the effect though.
The effect is very strong.
I give him C range.
The next card is a very interesting one. I want to brew the heck out of this card. Generator Servant. 1 and a red for a Piker, so a 2/1. And he has tap, sacrifice him, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. If this mana was spent to cast a creature spell, the creature spell gains haste until end of turn. So it's kind of like a slow, ritual, right? He's like a slow ritual on a stick. He can attack for 2 sometimes, and then sometimes...
The really good thing about him is because it's 2, you can split it across 2 different creatures and give them both haste.
That is
actually very powerful.
It's pretty powerful.
You gave it a C+, I gave it a C.
I like this card.
It's Satyr Hedonist that you don't have to splash Basic Forest for.
You're right. Yeah.
Basic Mountain.
Basic Mountain for.
Either way.
Alright, next card.
Goblin Kaboomist. 1 in a red for a 1/2 Goblin Warrior. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a colorless artifact token named Landmine onto the battlefield. With pay 1 red, sacrifice this artifact. This artifact deals 2 damage to target attacking creature without flying. Then flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Goblin Kaboomist deals 2 damage to itself.
So what I pointed out was this card's actually really good if you have the red Anthem out. Because then it starts surviving its own fuck up.
Yeah, we're pumping it in any way. Its toughness. Then it's we can talk, but I don't know. I give this a C+. You give it a B-. At worst, you're gonna have like a 1 landmine, right?
Yeah.
Which is a little worse than Shock, but it's still not bad.
And you might get upside. Yeah. But I like this card because it's just very classic Goblin, right? Goblin style of you know, like one of my favorite cards in the RTR block was the Goblin what is it? The O2 that had haste and tapped for 2 Test Pilot. Goblin Test Pilot, right? Card's silly, right? So it's just good. It's fun. But I agree with both of your ratings. I think it could be better than a C sometimes, but I'm not first picking this card ever.
Just the fact that you at least get a landmine out of it all the time,
Yeah.
I think it's playable for that reason.
It's playable for sure, but I don't think it's an early pick,
Not-
even though it's a rare.
Yeah, not much better than that.
Okay, next card.
You don't really pick that guy for flavor?
Nope.
Look at how
Why
sad
not?
he
It's
is.
so
I'm pretty sure it
sweet.
tastes like
Also,
every
remember when Travis was like, "Why isn't there a landmine card yet?" Now there is a landmine card. It's just not a card.
Yep. There was already one though. This dwarven landmine. I showed you.
True.
All right. So next card is Goblin Rabble Master. Rabble.
Hooray.
2 in a red for a Goblin Warrior who's a 2/2. Other Goblin creatures you control attack each turn if able. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put a 1/1 red Goblin token into play with haste into play. Whenever Goblin Rabble Master attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other attacking Goblin. So this card attacks as a 3/2 for 3
At least.
At the worst, yeah.
at the worst.
And then you get a goblin.
And you get a Goblin every turn. And you don't have to attack with it, but you get a 1/1 haste attacker every turn that can just crash into something.
It does have to attack though, so if they just have like a 1/3, it's pretty bad.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't,
Yeah. No, I'm saying the 1/1.
but you don't care about that card.
I mean, yeah, you don't care, but
Yeah,
It's-
this guy's
It's
awesome.
not
He's
even
like
a card, it's a token.
he's part Hellraiser Goblin, part Brimaz, and part Pile Driver.
he doesn't give other goblins haste. He just makes a 1/1 with haste. So
Right, but here's the thing about this card. So this card combos really well with all those things that like need you to like sack dudes and stuff like that. So there's like in like a black-red deck. This
Comes
card,
really well with Foundry Street Denizen.
It combos really well with Foundry Street Denizen. That card is sweet with Foundry Street Denizen, and Foundry Street Denizen is a goblin, so it pumps this guy.
that's called
Pump
synergy.
it up.
Pump it up. All right, next card.
Well,
what
we
was
gave
card?
this. We gave this. You gave it a B.
Plus.
B plus. I get a B.
I definitely
Yeah.
agree with that. It's not a bomb rare that
Yeah.
wins you the game by itself, but it's pretty powerful.
Yep.
Goblin Rough Rider. Man, we need to listen to some
Oh.
DMX.
Rough
No.
Rider.
Yeah. DMX, get in.
Where the hood at?
Alright, see, you're fired. 2 in a red for a
No.
Goblin Knight. He is a 3/2. So he's an aggressively costed creature. He's a 3/2 for 3 with no other
C.
abilities.
We gave it a C.
Just a C. And if you have Goblin Rabble Master, bam!
Rabble.
I mean, I like my creatures like I like my milkshakes, vanilla.
Boom!
Oh god, we need milkshakes after this.
It is time for one of the better auras in this set. Hammer Hand. It is a red for an enchantment aura.
Spinny.
It's Vinny
Hammer
Shredder.
hand.
Ham or hand. It is an enchant creature. When Hammerhand enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. This card is very powerful because it's an aura that triggers some of the other abilities in this set. It also like makes your guy bigger. It also gives it haste for 1 mana, so if you're somehow in the late game and have this card and a dude to play, right? And it has a can't block trigger, right? So would you pay 1 mana for a card that says target creature gets +1/+1 and another target creature can't block this turn? The answer to that question is yes.
Yeah, that's like one thing that makes auras playable, that moves them into playability, is when they have like come into play triggers.
Correct.
And this one's like, it's pretty good in an aggressive deck.
It's very good. Yeah, I like it a lot.
We gave it C, C minus.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's good for an aura. It's still an aura, but it's good for an aura.
So far, the red's been really aggressive. There's
Yes.
been a lot of really aggressive cards, so this fits in that kind of deck.
Next card.
Heat Ray, X and a red for an instant, deals X damage to target creature.
Just fireball a creature.
You
And-
gave this B, I gave it B plus.
Card is one of the better removal spells in the format.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Yeah.
it's unconditional kind of.
I'd rather have Volcanic Geyser myself, but you know, this is still really good. You're gonna be picking this highly.
Correct.
You can splash it in your sealed decks all the time, so.
Correct. Next card.
Hoarding Dragon, 3 red for 4/4 dragon with flying, enters the battlefield. You may search your library for an artifact card, exile it, then shuffle your library. When it dies, you might put the exiled card into its owner's hand.
So basically, it's like Smog, another version of Smog. We have
the dragon, not the cloud.
right.
Smaug.
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 Smaug. So we've got Smaug. He's
I mean-
pretty powerful.
He's basically just a 5 mana 4/4 flyer. And
which
then
is
occasionally finds you.
You get some value.
I put that as a B.
It's a B plus. I mean, this card could win the game by itself as a 4/4 flyer for 5.
Yeah.
So it's
and
good.
occasionally you'll
It's
find
no
your
Storm Breath
soul
Dragon,
of
but-
Nuphyrexia and tuck it under him, and then when he dies, you get a soul of Nuphyrexia.
Right. Okay. Next card is the best aura in the set. It is Inferno Fist, 1 and a red. And you actually need to get the fist art smaller so it looks like Joe Steed's fist. Enchant a creature you control. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0, and you can pay a red and sacrifice Inferno Fist. So sacrifice the aura off of the creature, but the creature still stays. Inferno Fist deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So this card is very good. When they first spoiled it, it looked like it only cost 1 red. There's just like a red and then red for the sack, and that would have been insane. But this card is very good even in the way it is, where it just gives your guy added value, and then you can just pay for shock anytime, right? So this aura is very good.
Yep.
It's like the only aura ever that's not a rare that's getting a B, and it's a fucking common. So play this card.
Yeah, B minus we gave it.
Yep, both gave it a B
Really good.
minus for an aura, so it's very strong. I like the card a lot. And if you put it on the thing and you make a dragon, you make a fire-breathing dragon, and then you shoot something else, and wow, so much value.
Right, Inferno Fist and the other one, Hammer Hand. Yeah, these are the two that might,
Hand.
you know,
Even be constructed
incidentally make the dragon creating card
good,
playable.
and
Just
also
incidentally.
correct. And also these are very playable in constructed, I believe. I think these are playable in constructed.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, next card.
Kurd Chieftain, or 3/3 Ape, gets +1/+1 as long as you control Forest. Pay 4 and a green. Target creature gets +2/+2 and trample till end of turn.
So this one is pretty aggressively costed, right? It's a 4/4 for 4 that can, at the 5 mana, so the literal next turn,
On curve, yeah.
on curve, make it into a 6/6 trample.
Yeah, remember Prized Elephant?
Prize Elephant was good, but it didn't even get pumped, right? It only got trample. This pumps and gets trample for a little bit more mana.
Yep.
So this card is very
minus.
strong. Yeah, this card is close to a bomb. This card is pretty strong.
That might be aggressive.
Quite bomby, but yeah, he's good.
I mean, if you're attacking for it with a 6/6 trample every turn just by investing the mana, like for the rest of the game.
That's all you're doing though, and you're not advancing the board. Like that might get there, but I don't think that's gonna get there.
Not always, but it's fine.
You can kind of compare this guy to like Ill-Tempered Cyclops, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that card was good.
They're a little different, but yeah, that card was good.
Next card.
Krenko's Enforcer, 1 red, Goblin Warrior, 2/2 Intimidate.
It's just a French vanilla
Phantom
2/2
Warrior.
Intimidator for 3. So yep, Phantom Warrior for red.
Little awkward. Yeah, it is. Phantom
They're
Warrior,
awkward
but-
if they are also red, but yeah. Or have Bronze Sable.
Ah,
Shoutouts to Bronze Sable.
Shoutouts to Bronze Sable.
Always saving your ass from the Intimidate guys.
Yep.
We gave this a C+. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
like it's gonna
It's
be
fine.
good in your red deck. So a
Let's
little
go.
better than average.
With the red legendary creature cycle.
Kirkesh Onaki Ancient, 2 red for 4/3 Ogre Spirit. When you activate an ability of an artifact, if it isn't a mana ability, you may pay red. If you do copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy.
We're going to pretend that we never had a conversation about this card's Psionic Resonator and
Sonic Resonator.
No,
and,
it-
making goats.
and Trading Post to make infinite goats.
it's gonna get there.
But
It's gonna get there.
Okay, so just as a quick side note,
No,
there are
no,
precisely
no,
2
no.
artifacts in this set that have activated abilities that stack. Grind Clock
That do something.
and the thing that taps. Oh, and Chain Veil. Chain Veil.
Chain Veil.
If you have this, Chain Veil and a Planeswalker,
ooh,
value town.
Ooh.
So what you're saying is
Ooh.
it's a legendary Borderland Minotaur,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
is
Yeah,
C,
that is what
which
it
is a
is.
C, and we gave this. Well, we gave it a C+. It's probably C plus.
It's
range.
probably just a C. It's you probably have.
Probably.
I'm gonna go with 98% of the time you have to ignore all of the text on that card.
Yeah, you have to. You're never gonna
Can't
actually.
wait. Can't you equip something and then pay a red and choose new targets for another equip?
No, you would equip the same thing to 2 different guys, or the
I
same
know
guy
how it
twice,
works,
which does
Joe.
nothing.
Yeah. What if you like try to equip it, and then once you reactivate it, you realize, oh no, I equipped it to the
have
wrong
no
guy.
Huh!
Save some mana.
I mean, I guess you save maybe 2 mana.
All right, next card. Let's stop.
Lava Axe. It's Lava Axe. I don't think we even
They
need to read
fucked
this
up
one.
the flavor text on this hardcore. 4
Yeah,
and a
there's
red
no catch
sorcery
anymore.
deals 5 target player. It should just say catch.
It definitely should just say catch.
Was the best.
Yeah. I really wish that there was a Cinder Hatchet, and that was what they named Lightning Strike.
This is definitely a trap card. People play this way too often. You put it D+, I gave it C-.
Wait, it only hits players? I thought it hit creatures.
No,
Jesus Christ, that
Card
card's
X has
awful.
always been bad.
What?
And there is a card called Cinder Hatchet.
Why are you allowing
I'm gonna
Josie
Google
to
that.
be in the same room?
I don't know, man. This is adding negative amounts of value to the
I know
stream right
there's
now.
one called something Hammer. Like Cinder Hammer.
But this is definitely unplayable.
I like how the
/3
only judge in this room who's an L1 thought that Lava Axe dealt damage
It's
to
the most
creatures.
basic card.
I haven't played the card since '98.
Nope. Steed is actually the
Definitely killed a lot of creatures with it in '98.
Yep. Steed is the worst Magic player in Buffalo. All right, moving on to the next card.
Cinder Mallet? Cinder Hatchet.
Lightning Strike. 1 and a red instant deals 3 damage to target creature player.
Card is currently in standard, so I don't think anyone needs a review of this card. Card is insanely good in this format because it kills almost everything.
Quality removal.
Yeah, it is
Quality
very,
removal
very,
spell.
very good.
I gave it a B++. You gave it a B.
It should be a B+. I'm low
Yeah.
on this.
B+.
There's no
B
card named
plus.
Cinder Hatchet.
Sweet
Is
card.
there one called Cinder Mallet? I'm pretty sure.
What? There's a hammer.
Isn't it something hammer? What's a hammer?
There's a volcanic hammer.
Volcanic Hammer deals 4 for 4, right?
Volcanic Hammer's
I think it was
3.
3 for 2.
Isn't it 3 for
Sorcery,
2
lightning
and sorcery
strike.
speed?
Oh yeah. All right, next card. Might Makes Right. 5 and a red for an enchantment. And there's a cycle of these types of enchantments, kind of, right? At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control each creature on the battlefield with the greatest power, gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn, untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn.
Is this the win-moriest card ever printed?
This card is the worst
Like,
card ever.
It's also
Please.
6 mana.
This has to be the win-moriest
This card goes
I've ever
into
seen in my life.
goes into the category of 6 mana do nothing enchantments that you will never play. Please don't play this card. It
You
is
can
awful.
discard it to Blast of Genius to hit something for 6.
Win makes more.
Is
Win
that
makes
why
more,
you give
this
it a
is
D,
this
Alex?
card.
Because you're gonna discard it to Blast of Genius?
So let's
How
go with
is
the next
this- how
card,
is this not an
and
F?
we're gonna pretend that Joe Seed's no longer in the room.
We.
Next is
When do you ever think you're gonna play that, Alex?
Never.
I was thinking, best case scenario when I graded it a D. So
I don't
Which
know
is
why,
what?
'cause
What
you
is
said
the
it was
best case
unplayable.
scenario? I'm not winning with my 4/4s when you have a 2/2
Best case
out?
scenario, yeah, they have a 2/2 and you have a 3/3 and you take it.
Whoa.
Oh man!
Every
I paid
turn.
6 mana to get 2 damage in.
Yeah.
So powerful.
good.
All right,
No, and then you sack it to some sort of sack. Man.
Steed, shut your mouth.
Some sort of
All right.
sack, man.
Next card. Next card.
Miner's Bane, 4 red for a 6/3 elemental. 2 and a red, Miner's Bane gets +1/+0 and gains trample.
I think the card's good.
We gave it a C.
The card's very aggressive.
Unfortunately, it dies to a lot.
Yeah, it just dies
3 on the
everything.
It
butt.
dies to lightning strike.
3 on the butt.
Yeah,
It's not
it
great.
dies to
to
everything.
the 1 mana black
But
spell.
it will get in for like 6 damage when it goes down, but it will die.
Yes. It ulcerates. Whee!
Yeah, sometimes though you want like a big red guy on the top of your curve, and this guy does that. So
Yeah,
C.
for sure.
Next we have Paragon of Fierce Defiance, 3 and a red for a 2/2 human warrior. Other red creatures you control get +1/+1. Pay 1 red and tap it. Another target red creature you control gains haste till end of
This
turn.
might be the best activated ability, right?
Hey,
Death Touch is good,
It's good.
but this one
activated
this
ability,
one could easily be like you're at like 7 mana. Your Miner's Bane comes into play. That turn, right? You drew it off the top, or you had a land in play, or whatever, and you just go 6 mana, play this 7/4 red tap, attack with this 7/4, right?
I think more importantly, like this and the white one are in the best colors for an anthem effect.
Correct.
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
give it a-
I think
give
the
it a
red
B
one might
minus.
be the best one.
I
Yeah,
think-
I could
think the
see
red
it
one's
being
the
low.
best one. Not close.
Low just because of context. I think as a card by itself, it's still C++, but I think because it's in this color, I agree with Alex. It
It's a
might be
little
a
bit
B
higher,
minus.
yeah.
That's what I said. Yeah. So Rummaging Goblin is the next card. It's 2 and a red for Goblin Rogue. He's a 1/1. He has tap, discard a card, draw a card.
Why does red get the Merfolk Looter now?
He's-
The blue Merfolk Looter is so bad in the set.
This card
card's
card
great.
was very good in M14, right? Or was he in M13?
M13.
M13.
Yeah.
This card was very good in M13. I think this card's going to be very good in this format.
Again, I gave it a B minus. You gave it a C plus.
Yeah,
the first one's a lot better than the second one. But,
it's making the deck every time.
It's not fast.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fast enough to be a B-.
Rummaging, as it's now nicknamed, is a lot worse than looting.
Apparently, it's 4 mana worse.
4 mana worse. You're right.
Absolutely.
All right, next card.
Scrapyard Mongrel, 3 in a red for 3/3 Hound. As long as you control an artifact, Scrapyard Mongrel gets +2/+0 and has trample. If this was in Mirrodin block, it'd be pretty good, but unfortunately, it's not.
Well, it's gonna be good in your decks though. It and Bronze Sable are gonna be best of friends.
Yeah, Bronze Sable.
And they're just gonna crash in together.
Yeah. But most of the time, you're getting the Hill Giant. So
that would make a pretty good cartoon show, right? Like some Scrapyard Mongrel and his best bud, the Sable.
Best bud, the Strat Sable.
It doesn't know the Bronze
Going on
Sable's just a
adventures,
stick.
solving crimes.
Alright.
Scrapping yards.
And shrapnel blasting.
If it was a vanilla 3/3 for 4, it would be fine. It just has upside, so it's okay. So Scrapyard Mongrel is a just flat C. That's fine. Next card is Shrapnel Blast. 1 in a red for an instant, and it is as an additional cost to Shrapnel Blast, sacrifice an artifact. Shrapnel Blast deals 5 damage to target creature or player. This card's good. You just need to be playing
Except that you
artifacts.
need to have an artifact. So we give a D+.
The card, when you have multiple Bronze Sables in your deck, sometimes Bronze Sable gets to do 7.
Again, this isn't Mirrodin blocks, so you're not going to be able to actually use this card very often.
But when you're Alex Bianchi and you have this many Bronze Sables in your deck.
But then you have to get rid of your Bronze Sable.
Yeah.
But if
it's the worst thing ever.
No.
At what cost?
At what cost?
He's jumping over for 5 more damage to kill your opponent for you.
I'd rather have a Bronze Sable.
But what if you have a Goblin Kaboomist and the mines are useless?
Oh, did we just break standard?
Are those our artifacts, right? They're not just colorless?
Yeah, they are.
Or if you have King Makar, you're like, I don't need this.
The gold.
Ooh,
that's
gold
is
in your
gold.
face.
You're right. All right, next card is the red promo.
Siege Dragon, 5 red for a 5/5 flying dragon. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all walls.
Oh my god. Shabka 92. He just broke standard. Scuttling Doom Engine and Shrapnel Blast.
11U.
11U.
Oh,
you're right. Oh my god.
Going to King Makar though, I just realized. Do you think like Convoke and Inspire is going to be a thing in Standard?
Ooh.
Because I didn't think about that till just now. I just realized that was a sweet combo.
I mean, there was a blue-black inspired deck, right?
Yeah, like Daring Thief and Convoke might actually be really sweet, right?
Ooh.
Convoke out 3 spirits, like trade a spirit for your Soul Zendikar or something.
But
No, oh my god, what about this? What if you convoke your Phyrexian Revoker onto a Planeswalker that they control, and then untap, and then give them the Revoker that's naming something on their side of the field for their, like, actual, card, and then, like, kill them with it. Alright.
anyway, the Siege Dragon. When it comes into play, destroys all walls your opponent's controls, and then when it attacks, if defending player controls no walls, deals 2 damage to each creature without flying that player controls.
This card is pretty insane.
Yeah. You gave it an A, I gave it an A-. And it's the red pre-release promo.
Yeah.
This card does not need anything to be good.
Yeah, the ability is actually pretty absurd.
Yeah.
I don't know why you gave us an
Just because it's 7 mana.
Yeah.
It
Second
has
best
to
pre-release
attack
promo.
once. Is probably
It's
why
probably the
it's an A-,
second best
not an
pre-release
A.
promo. Yeah.
Just because it's 7, that's why I gave it an A-. But yeah, it's definitely A range.
In
Yeah,
sealed,
I'm
this is
probably
an A.
picking red.
In
I'm
draft,
probably picking red for the pre-release because this is the second best promo and it's not black.
I want to too, yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. Red seems crazy. All right, next card is the Soul of Chandelar. It is 4 red for an Avatar 6/6. It has First Strike as its French vanilla ability, and then it has 3 red. Soul of Chandelar deals 3 damage to target player and 3 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls, and the same thing for exiling it and the same 5 mana. So, this card is literally insane.
Searing Blaze over and over again.
Not even Searing Blaze. This is punish the enemy over and over and over.
Them. You're just punishing them.
Absolutely punishing your enemy over and over and over again. And when you get to 10 mana, 6 your creature is like, there's no coming back from this card ever.
This is like
Yeah,
getting
you can
close
still
to
3 them
Inferno
with no
Titan.
creatures out.
So Yeah, of the Titan cycle, this is like the closest one to the actual Inferno Titan. This card's really dumb though. Like this card, like there's almost no way to win when your opponent plays this card, right? Like,
yeah, I mean this and Soul of Theros
are unbeatable.
probably
I think.
like the best cards in the set.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I think so.
Yeah, we gave it an A. You gave it an A
A
plus.
plus. This is like Soul of Theros was A plus plus plus. This is like A plus plus. Like this card is actively almost unbeatable. Next card is I think going to be a big player in Standard for a while. Stoke the Flames, 2 red for an instant that has Convoke. It is deals 4 damage to target creature or player.
This card seems really pushed to me, so I gave it an A minus. You gave it a B plus.
I give it a plus.
Maybe a removal spell can't get in the E range ever.
I think a removal spell has to.
Unless it's Hero's Downfall.
It has to be Hero's
Yeah.
Downfall or the one that has Strive. That card is actually insane. What is it?
Oh, Silence the Believers.
Silence the
That's an
Believers is an
A-minus.
A
That's an
minus for
A-minus,
sure.
Yeah.
That card ends
So this
games.
this is probably a B plus. I'll
This is
say
a B
this is a B plus. But still, this card is nuts.
This card's nuts in limited because it kills almost everything for probably less than 4 mana at instant speed, right? So it probably kills everything for like 2 mana at instant speed, almost everything in the format. Then, also, this card in Standard is like mind-blowing because
Burn
in the
gets
Burn
another
deck,
4 damage spell.
you get a 4 damage spell that probably doesn't cost 4 mana like Lightning Helix does. And because there's so many times where your Eidolon is no longer attacking because they have something that can block or trade with it on the other side of the field, and you actively don't want to do that. And then this doesn't trigger Eidolon either because when you're convoking, it doesn't take away from the converted mana cost of the spell, so it doesn't deal 2 to you.
And also, you can't Warrior's Helix Blood Baron, and you can Stoke the Flames Blood Baron. So that's relevant. And Stormwrath Dragon, too.
Whee!
So there's like 2 really important creatures in Standard that this kills.
Yeah.
Wow, this card is crazy. This card is crazy for Standard. This card makes me want to play the Burn deck actively because this card's so good. So
It probably see play, in non-burn decks too after rotation.
Maybe.
Might be one of the best removal spells. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because you lose Mortars.
right, losing Mortars is very hurtful. Next card. This is a reprint. It's a fun reprint because it was in Modern Masters and it was obviously printed before that. Thundering Giant, 3 red for a giant. It is a 4-3 haste. That's it. It just has a French vanilla haste tacked on. Card's fine.
Yeah, a little under the curve for power and toughness, but it has haste, so we give it a C. Solid C.
Card's like fine as the very top of your red aggressive deck curve or something, right? It's just a powerhouse that comes out and beats face for 4 the turn that you can play it.
Yep.
If you curve out. Next card is a card that's seen lots of print in many of the most recent sets.
Torch Friend.
Torch Friend. 1 red devil. He's a 2/1, so he's just a piker. And he has the upside of red, sack him, destroy target artifact. In this format, there's like a couple that might be relevant, but not really. Most of the time, you're just playing it as a vanilla 2/1 for 2.
Yep, we gave it a C. Pretty obvious C.
Good old Torch.
Yep.
Torch Friend.
Torch Friend.
His face looks a lot like Joe Steeds.
I liked it better in Theros
It's a
because
little prettier than
if
me.
they had a weapon, a god weapon, you could kill it with Torch Fiend,
Which
which
was sweet.
seemed insane.
Which was good.
Anyway, next is Wall of Fire. 1 red for a creature wall, 0/5. Has Defender, and
Fire
pay
beam.
1 red, gets +1/+0 on the turn. Yeah, it's a wall, so you're probably not going to want to play this.
No.
You gave it a
It's
C
a
minus.
good one though.
Yeah, you like this
Yeah,
card?
because it trades. I mean, like you can always like leave mana up so that it makes attacks bad because it's not just an 0/5. It's killing their stuff.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, it's like
in
not-
red,
it's-
like you don't
you
want
wanna
to be
be
aggressive
attacking.
red deck, so
No, but to me this is like I guess in this format this card's probably a lot worse.
Yeah.
But to me this was always the definition of your 23rd card.
okay.
Sure.
You gave it a C minus. I gave it a D.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Alright.
we are done with the
How
red.
about red as a whole? What do we think?
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's got
It's it's
the best
not
removal.
shallow.
You think? Best removal of all the colors?
Yeah, it's the best removal. It's
Yeah,
a
best
little single-minded.
A little,
like,
yeah.
You're gonna be aggressive, but like it's also
Right.
one of the I'm surprised how on shallow red is because red is usually like the shallowest color.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty deep
It's
for red.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, finally on to green. We are almost done.
Just
Ancient
gotta finish our broccoli.
Silverback. This card used to be a rare. I had a number of 7th edition versions of this card, and I used to think this card was sweet. It is 4 green, 4 broccoli for a 6/5 with broccoli, regenerate ancient silverback. So
Vegetables quite good for you, it seems.
card is very strong.
Yeah.
Card is almost a bomb.
There's not a lot of big creatures in the set.
There are
and
not,
This thing is
and
big and hard to kill.
Big and hard to kill. Yep. So card's good. It's a B+. I agree with Stella.
Yeah, it's insanely huge.
It's
And
just
when was
very
the last
big.
time they made a card with regenerate for 1 mana?
Yeah,
Like
not-
that's this big.
not
It's
very
I mean, this
stupid.
used to be a rare. This used to be a rare.
Yeah.
So that's why. All right, next card. Back to Nature. 1 green for destroy all enchantments at instant speed. So in this format, probably not that good. It's a sideboard card at best.
Yeah, it's a demystify in your sideboard.
In Standard,
That
everyone
just
who
kills
was
the
like
deck.
Courser of Crewfix and Eidolon of Blossoms are so sweet, gonna get blown the fuck out by this card, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
but
already
you're
pre-ordered a
still
bunch of
drew 2
M11
cards, so they're like
foils.
2 for 0. They're just like 2 for 2 to you.
yeah. I mean, there's already kind of an auras deck, a hexproof deck, and there might be constellation decks that become more popular. So this is gonna be a nice sideboard card for green decks.
It's gonna be sweet. Next card.
Carnivorous Moss Beast. 4 green for a 4/5 plant elemental beast. Pay 5 green, put a 1/1 counter on it.
So
Talk about expensive abilities. I
Yeah, why is this 7
Yeah.
mana?
don't know why.
There's
mean,
like a typo.
yeah, I don't know, but the card's okay as like a vanilla
Yeah.
whatever it is. So it's a very
Nice late game
average.
card.
Yep, late game card. It's a C.
Yeah.
It looks very much like Joe Steet.
I wish I was that pretty. And tentacle.
Oh man, when Joe Steet wishes he
Oh,
has
boy.
tentacles.
That's
It
not
looks
where
like
we wanna
a mole to me. It's got like mole hands.
All right,
Tiny,
next card.
Tiny fist mole hands.
Tiny mole hands. All right, so charging Rhino. It is 3 broccoli for a Rhino. It's a 4/4 that cannot be blocked by more than 1 creature. This card is very average. This card is a 4/4 for 5, basically vanilla, except it can't be gang blocked.
How does a rhino not have trample?
I don't know.
It's polite.
It's a polite Rhino.
It's got a good ability though.
It's fine. The ability's
C+,
fine.
solid C+.
Yeah, I agree. It's just good. I mean, and all the green dudes are just gigantic in comparison to the rest of the cards
Yeah.
in the set. Next card is Chord of Calling. It is X broccoli for a instant with Convoke that says search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So it's basically like a tutor card in limited for hopefully your other best card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a hard time imagining this being good and limited.
It's not that good in limited.
I mean, you have to get your bomb maybe for a lot of mana.
I mean, do you
but-
play Diabolic Tutor in limited? Not really.
Well, this puts it right into
It's
play
better
as an
than
instant,
that,
which is
yeah.
kind of nice.
right, I agree.
Combat trick.
It could be a combat trick. It could be a number of things.
Oh my god, how savage is 10 mana, whatever, to that out a Hornet?
Oh, how
Yeah.
about how savage is Court of Calling into my Bone Weaver into my some other
I
aura?
mean, Quarter Calling Hornet's Nest is kind of a thing. If you,
Oh,
if you
Hornet's
get,
Nest would be
if
sweet.
you get
That's
those two
probably the-
rares together.
The best scenario.
That's pretty best scenario.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's C range, I think.
I'd C minus for sure.
It's really tough to tell. It could
C-
be really bad.
C plus is very aggressive, Stella, considering this is a rare that you're not going to see very often.
You're not gonna have a toolbox
you
in
have-
a limited deck.
and you have to have good cards to Court of Calling for, Stella. So, like,
No, you first pick this card and you take all the toolbox cards.
Take
wow,
out the toolbox.
Guys,
make
come
me
on.
vomit harder, Stella.
Come on,
Alright.
guys.
Elvish Mystic.
Broccoli, taps for broccoli.
It does not exist.
Llanowar Elf.
It doesn't exist. If you're Alex Bianchi, I tell Alex Bianchi,
I don't believe
Elvish
you.
Mystic is reprinted in M15. He immediately spikes me by saying, "I don't believe you," and then I show him the spoiler, and he immediately says, "I still don't believe you."
I mean, I looked through the spoiler, but I must have missed it. I must have missed it when I
You
looked
must
through
have
it.
missed it. Yep.
Yep.
As a quick side note, its ability does not mean tap, search your deck for a forest, and put it into play.
Who would think that?
I had to give someone a game loss for it.
Who would think that?
Elvish Mystic
They
is.
just did it the whole game.
Anyway,
they had like
anyway,
11
this is-
forests
God,
out.
shut the fuck up.
This is a great card. I give it a B. You give it a B minus.
Card's good.
Yeah.
This card's sweet and limited.
Ramping and limited, especially on turn 1, is really good. Next card
Terrible
is
play draw.
Feral Incarnation. It has sweet art. 8 and a broccoli for a sorcery that says Convoke, put 3/3 green beast tokens onto the battlefield. So in the green-white tokens deck, this could be like curve like, you know, some dudes into this card at like on turn 5, and you have 9 power.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, 9 mana for 9 power is good, and then it has Convoke, which you're
Just
going
makes
to,
it
which you're going
so
to use.
much
you're
better.
going to have to Convoke with this card, right?
Right, and I mean,
Yeah.
say even on turn 6, like 5 or 6 with like 3 or 4 guys in play, and you're just convoking 9 power onto the field. Holy
Split
God.
across 3 bodies.
It's
pretty good.
Card is crazy good.
You
Card
give it
is,
B minus, I give it B plus.
Yeah, card's very good.
It is an expensive card.
It's probably
so
somewhere between. Yeah,
it's
I'm just
somewhere
worried
in
there's
the
going to be
range.
like.
I think it'll be fine. Is Stellar
Uh-oh.
your life?
We lost the Stellars.
A lot of cases where
no,
you're.
no, we got
A
him.
lot of cases.
Yay.
Alright, next card is Gather Courage. Gather Courage is Broccoli for a Convoke spell that gives +2/+2 until end of turn. So, it's a tiny bit worse than... Oh no, we lost Anstella.
We did.
It's supposed to be marginally. Wow, we have been on the phone with him for crazy long. If that's... Oh wait, no, it's not doing what I thought it was doing. I thought it was counting up.
Well, I think we're still live, right?
Check the stream, yeah.
Yeah.
Wee.
Oh, well,
We need
hopefully-
Anstella. Oh, we got it back?
Hello?
Yeah!
Hi.
What's up? Alright.
Video again. Boop.
Alright, there we go. Next card, so Gather Courage, we just read it. So it's marginally worse than Giant Growth, but it has Convoke as the upside.
Like the red spell.
So like
it's
the red
nice.
spell, you don't, on defense, you don't have to represent anything, which is sweet. But on offense, obviously you just have it, right?
Yeah. Just
So
one
we give this a
Broccoli.
C plus.
Yeah.
It could be a C maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that great, but it's definitely a cool combat trick, and it's got some different applications. The next card is a Bonafide Bomb. I'm not sure why you guys are not rating this higher.
Genesis Hydra. X green for a 0/0 plant Hydra. When you cast it, reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put a non-land permanent card with permanent mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest of your library. And it enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters.
So this card just is always a like 2-for-1, right? Two
No,
for
it's
one.
not always a 2-for-1. It's going to whiff a
Could
lot
whiff.
more than you want it to.
I think the sweet spot for this is X
This
equals
is
4, I
or
think.
5, right? X equals
Yeah,
4 or 5, and
yeah.
it's
Which
very
means
rare
it's
to
a
whiff.
6 drop or a 7 drop. You're getting a 4/4 or a 5/5 and a creature.
Hopefully something
Hopefully.
else, yeah.
Decent creature out of it,
But
which is
the
which
other
is a
creature
solid
you're
B to
getting
me.
is probably going to be like nowhere near on the. Yeah, that's why I don't think it's an A.
Yeah.
Because I think the other creature you're fetching is not going to be what you want. Like, obviously, dream scenario, you pay like 7 mana, you get this, and then you put like a I don't know. what's
Nissa
the
onto the
five-
battlefield, and then untap 4
Yeah, you get
forests, and then
Nissa.
play something else. Boom! Alright, that's fine. I guess I can agree with that for limited. No, you guys are right. It's probably a B. B plus for limited. I think this card's going to be sweet in standard.
If only it was Genesis Wave Hydra.
Yeah.
It is. It's any non-land
It's
permanent. It
not
doesn't have to be a
Genesis
creature.
Wave. That puts
It's not all of them.
All of them. Oh, you're right.
Even the lands.
It would be a mythic then, but it's still sweet. Alright, next card is Hornet's Nest. So we need to get hundreds of this card, and we need to put them in Joe Steet's roommate's room.
Yes.
So
I did pick up some hornet stings today.
So Hornet's Nest is 2 and a Broccoli for a 0/2 insect with Defender. Whenever it's dealt damage, put that many 1/1 green insect tokens with flying and death touch onto the battlefield. Now I think this card's pretty sweet. It's not like an insane bomb, but it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I
we compared it to Dragon Egg, right?
except that
Stella?
it's much better.
Yeah,
Was it
it's much
Dragon
better
Egg?
than that.
It's
Yeah,
much better
than
than that.
Dragon Egg.
Much better than
Yeah.
Dragon Egg.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's better than I think it is. You gave it a B.
Yeah, card's good. Card is actively good. It stops them from attacking early, and then when they ever do attack into it, or somehow, unless they get rid of it somehow that's not attacking or dealing damage to it, you just get to stop attackers forever.
So Matt, you haven't seen this yet. We got some gifts ready. When you cast Hornet's Nest, this is gonna be you. This is gonna be you being the Hornet's Nest caster. And when you're getting Hornet's Nest, this is you.
This is so powerful. Oh man,
First of the Bees cards.
so powerful.
The second Bees card.
Second B card.
I should have given Hornet's Nest a B. Oh man.
Obviously,
That's why you,
why
gave it a
you
B.
hunted. The flavor was not there.
Okay, yeah, hold on, I'll fix it. B.
You graded it.
All
a B.
better.
Yes.
B,
Yes.
B-E-E. All right.
Oh man, you need B E E
Who
E.
gave it a D plus?
Fucking
I
Al. Al's awful.
I don't like that card, but
We disagree very strongly on that. But we agreed quite strongly on this Hornet.
the next card's great.
Holy
Hornet
shit,
Queen
Hornet.
is insane.
4 green for a 2/2 insect, flying and death touch. When it enters the battlefield, put 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch into the battlefield.
So after you play this card, your opponent is actively never attacking you ever again.
Yeah.
And if you're on the aggressive, it's 6 power flying for 7.
Stupid.
Yeah.
This card
So
is
good.
6 power,
insane.
6 power flying with death touch across 5 bodies.
Yeah, this is a bonkers
Like-
card.
This card is maybe.
I mean, you can't attack into a wall of fire very well.
Maybe
but
this
other
is-
than that, you probably just want
Do
to.
you think this is an A instead of an A minus?
it's definitely an A. It's
Like,
a hard A.
it is
Seven
cost
mana
7 and
holds
it's
you
triple
back,
green.
But yeah, it might
Yeah.
be an A.
But if you're in green, you're getting up there anyway. 'cause
Also,
you're
how
playing
savage is it to
That's-
go like turn 7 that thing, and then the next turn drop invasive species and bounce it so you can play
Yeah,
it
well,
again
You can
and
do that
get
every turn
4
with
more.
Primadox, buddy.
Yeah, you're right.
Wrong
Primadox.
Primadox is in this format too, yeah.
Yeah.
Next card is Hunt the Weak. We've seen this before. It was in M13. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then that creature fights target creature you don't control. So, because it's sorcery speed and 4 mana, sometimes you can get blown out if you don't play this very carefully. But otherwise, it's a fine fight card. It's like as good as any of the things. And the other reason that this card's good in this format is because the green creatures are gigantic in
Yeah,
comparison
they're
to
much
all the other
bigger.
creatures. So putting your 1/1 counter on your green creature and then fighting anything in any other color, you're probably winning and keeping your creature.
And there's not a
You know
lot
what
of
else you
instant
can do?
speed bounce to get blown out by.
That's true. There is not a lot of instant speed bounce.
You know what else you can do with this card?
You can target the wrong creature and punt the weak.
No, you can't do that. But you can have your Hornet Nest fight a soul or something and get 6/1/1.
Oh my
Hornet Nest, yeah.
You're right.
You just
Bees!
throw the hornet nest at your opponent's creature.
Wow, that's like taking Ted and like smashing a hornet's nest into
Not
his
the
face.
bees.
The bees.
Not the bees.
The bees are so powerful.